Welcome to a very special episode of Tales from the Dork Side. We're going to be talking about horror movies and all things spooky, scary stories, scary true stories, scary fictitious stories, the news that's terrifying. Yes. Welcome, my sadistic children. If you wish to watch, prepare yourself. If you wish to join and tell us of all your favorite wicked delights, please click the link in the description. Tonight's episode will be a feast of horrors as I showcase my baby photos I have found in the deep, dark trenches of my mother's room. A crypt of baby pictures. We've already got some guests. We're going to be talking about all sorts of scary stuff. Because it's fun. And I like it. Let's see here. Let me show you guys something real quick. Oh my God. Oh. How's it going, everybody? We got some people in here. Yeah, we do. We got two friends in here. We turn this off. Oh, Lord, hang on. Hang on, we're having minor... Oh, here we go. Click. All right. Let's add... We got Donovan from El Paso. You're out in Austin now, right?
I am. That is correct.
Hooray. I'm over at my mom's house, actually, in Alvin, near Houston.
Really? So
Yeah.
Are you Houston-based now, or...?
No, I'm in Austin. My mom moved out to Austin, Houston area because like our aunts and grandmas out here.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, we got Eddie up in here too, the barbecue pizza hobbit.
Yep.
Eddie, where's your stupid cat?
Stupid cat. Hold on, let me. Well, there's the dog, Christina's pup, and Dale is right there. He's being stupid. I don't know if you can see him.
Dale is a bastard cat.
He is a bastard, but hello.
I don't know if you're aware of this, Donovan, but I had to watch Dale, Edward's cat, and there he is.
He's a man.
He does what he wants. That cat takes what he wants and he gets what he wants. That cat attacked me because he wanted to go outside and it was against the rules. Anyway, how you been, Donovan?
Bored as shit in lockdown. I had a lot of exciting plans, but those were all fucked away.
Plans. I see. Yeah, we all had plans, didn't we? This year is a giant horror story, isn't it?
I think my favorite meme was from now on in zombie movies, if you don't have a horde of people running towards the zombies claiming it's just a liberal hoax, it's not realistic.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. The zombies are a conspiracy theory, man. They're not real, dude. It's the government, man.
Some Alex Jones shit.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing about the zombie apocalypse is it's like it's one of those things that would happen that would get everyone on the same side, you know? Like, oh, shit. Okay, so God is real. The afterlife is real. Zombies are after us. There's no real...
I'm convinced it wouldn't have everyone on the same side.
Yeah, Walking Dead is why that show was so terrible, because it's like... Same thing with The Last of Us, even though those weren't really zombies. But it's like, yeah, like, your biggest problem is not zombies. It's assholes running around in the zombie apocalypse. Asshole humans. Right, Eddie? Eddie would be one of those assholes.
Dude, I would be a cannibal. They think I'm a zombie, but I'd just like to eat people.
Well, the thing is, would you rape people too? Would you rape and eat them? And would you rape them first, or would you kill them and eat them first, or would you do both, all three at the same time?
I wouldn't, you don't shit where you eat.
Good
I would like hook them up to an IV and surgically remove their arm and then eat it from.
Yeah, I've always thought about that, like with like a cow.
Zombies. You didn't feel anything. I'm just trying to survive. And
yeah,
then,
like if you had a cow, wouldn't it be better to just like maybe cut a leg off and just like maybe not kill the whole cow? Like,
hook it up.
Would that satisfy the vegans?
Maybe. Yeah, we didn't kill it. We just took its leg. He's got 3 others, man. He's fine.
Yeah, right.
Little chickens, though. Your chickens. How are your chickens, Eddie? I had to watch those little shits too.
Dude, they're good. They it's crazy. They just shit on the concrete when they run around sometimes. So I have this hose to wash it off. And I noticed there was like little tiny bits of bird shit, and I was like, "That's not from the chicken." And there's these 2 dove that live in the tree, like right above my concrete. They've been shitting on the. I think it's like more than one family of dove, but they're just.
So you're getting really good at identifying bird shit.
Yes, bird scat.
Bird scat. That sounds like a genre of music.
Bird scat.
Yeah, Doug.
Better than if it's a porn.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I don't know. I don't understand. I heard like that's the thing about porn addiction. It's like, like, because, every guy jokes like, oh, I'm addicted to porn because I masturbated 3 times today. But it's like, I've heard from like legit like therapists and stuff. It's like, nah, dude, you're addicted to porn when you're like masturbating to gay porn, even though you're not gay, because you're like everything, nothing floats. You're just like digging deeper into the bowels, trying to find anything that's new. It's not even about stuff that turns you on. It's about stuff you haven't seen, and that's why you start getting more.
It's like that. It's like that episode of South Park where the internet goes out and they're telling Randy Marsh, "Just look at Playboy." He's like, "You cannot go back to Playboy after you've seen Asian twins puke on each other."
I just love that GIF of him sitting on the chair covered in his own cum, like he's had his balls so full for so many years, for so many months or whatever. Let's see.
Ghost came in here.
Let's see. I wanted to let's see if I can showcase this is the other thing I wanted to show. I found this in my because last week I forgot to do this, but I was going through the nostalgia episode. My mom has like a storage area full of all the crap that we didn't want to keep as kids. Like I've got all my Calvin and Hobbes books and Wizard magazines at my house, all my fun comic books, but all the stuff that I forgot about and didn't care about. We went through all these books. I even read this entire book. It was like a 100-page book called Barfarama.
It's very possible I looked at some of this stuff when I went to your house as a kid.
Very possible. In fact, it's probably guaranteed. Eddie doesn't know this, but me and Dominic were like Donovan were neighbors in El Paso
in the 90s.
Yeah, dog. So back in the 90s, you had to you couldn't just like talk to your friends on the internet. You had to like go knock on their house and be like, "Yo, Mrs. So-and-so, is so-and-so home? I have bored."
Like, no, they're grounded. They can't come out.
Okay, so check this out. We lived on this big street called Featherhawk, and it was like a big like U-shaped street with like little cul-de-sacs on the inside. And on the me and Donovan lived on certain houses, and in between our house was this guy named Bob. Oh
Folk. Yeah.
This guy. Okay, so we basically were like running around the neighborhood, and we discovered that this guy had a trampoline, like a full trampoline in his backyard, and we were like, knocked on his door, like, "Hey, mister," like me and Donovan and maybe a handful of other kids. There's Eric, who lived across the street from me. And then there was the Japanese family that lived next door to Bob. There's a whole bunch of us. But I don't remember who exactly was the first ones that went to Bob's door. But I remember we'd knock on his door and be like, "Hey, can we jump on your trampoline?" And he'd be like, "Come downstairs," and be like, "Yeah, sure, whatever, I don't care." And then eventually got to the point where he's like, "Look, don't even knock on my door. Just open the back gate, go jump on the trampoline. I work from home, so you're bothering me." Because he worked for like Industrial Light and Magic or something like that.
What's funny is that was a totally different time too. Because today people do stuff like that. All these other questions come about and potential lawsuits.
Well, I remember when we talked about it to our parents. Like, I remember they were like, "We got to talk to this Bob guy and vet him." I remember my parents were like, "I need to meet this guy, see what the hell his deal is." Because we were like, "Yeah, we're just going to Bob's house. He's this old guy. He lives down the street. He's got a trampoline. He gives us ice cream and stuff." Well, it's like, what? Huh?
Well, even best case scenario, there's always that, I don't know, if you get hurt in my backyard and your parents sue me.
Oh, that too. Yeah, I wasn't even thinking about that. Yeah. Yeah, we were just jumping on his trampoline. Dude, that was the thing about Bob. He had this way. He would sometimes, Eddie left. Sometimes he had this way of like, he had that double jump method. Like, because every once in a while, because he smoked like a fucking chimney. He smoked like 4 packs a day.
Really?
Even my dad was like, "Holy shit, you smoke a lot!" Like my dad smoked a lot, but even he was like, "Whoa, 4 packs a day!" Like that's like I'm pretty sure. Like I don't know Bob what he's up to now. I'm pretty sure he's dead. Like I could probably safely say he might be dead based on how much he smoked. And he was a weird guy. Like he was like I guess he was like in his 40s. He looked pretty fit. Blonde, glasses, clean shaven. He kind of looked like Jeffrey Dahmer. He looked like a serial killer for sure.
Shit, maybe he was.
Yeah, who knows? He was from Alaska. He had talked about how he'd moved out of Alaska because his parents or his brother died. That's what it was. And I remember what else it was about Bob, but I remember like my dad and my mom ended up liking him a lot. Because that was the thing. It's like once we started telling him, like, yeah, we're going to the neighbor's house. They're like, who? Like, we need to fucking meet this guy. Can't go over there anymore. Who is this guy? What? Because even then, that was weird. But yeah, he was a chill dude. He just owned a trampoline. That was basically it. But I remember every once in a while, he would come and get on the trampoline with us for like 5 seconds. And he had this thing where he wouldn't even he wouldn't even like jump. He would just put his feet firmly on the trampoline and he would just do this, like bend his knees and like sink down. And all of us would like, I remember one time my brother Aldo like flew like, 10 feet in the air and Bob had to like catch him so he didn't fall on the, he had this like amazing double jump method that was out of this world.
Well, what's also funny is going back to That's a Different Time, and this is going to sound very boomer of me, is
I mean, we're like 35, 34. We're senior citizens now, dude.
Right. Well, trampolines were exciting to us back then. None of these like iPads or while we had Sega and Super Nintendo, it wasn't like Xbox Live or anything like that.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I mean, I remember we had like Mortal Kombat 2 and Mortal Kombat Street Fighter and all these games that you could beat. You play for like 30 minutes and you're like, okay, I'm satisfied. Video games now, it's like watching a show. It's like it takes weeks and months, They're involved.
The last video game I really just got really into was probably Vice City or Evil Dead Regenerate.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I have a PS3, and there's definitely some good games on there. I have not gotten the PS4 yet. I'll probably get the PS4 when the PS5 comes out. But there are some really good horror games on PS3. Alien Isolation is terrifying. It's a sequel. It takes place in between Alien and Aliens. And you're Amanda Ripley. You're Ellen Ripley's daughter. And basically the plot of the story is, hey, they found the Nostromo, the ship from the first Alien movie. They found the black box. And Amanda Ripley like works for this company that's going out. And she has like they thought of her personally, like, hey, you'd probably want to go on this mission. And she gets to this big space station called Sevastopol where they have the black box. And obviously by the time she gets there, like everything's all fucked up. The power's all out. They're like stranded on the space station and there's an alien running around. But it's one of those survival horror games where the fucking alien, you can't kill the alien. Your best bet is to like hide into a locker or something. It's terrifying. Every time the alien shows up, it's like scary. And then there's also like androids and other shitty people and stuff, but you can kill them.
You know what Mortal Kombat is slowly turning into? An idea I was talking about with a friend in like 2003. And I'm not going to pretend this was an original idea because it's parallel thinking, was a horror icon fighting game where you choose to play as Chucky, Freddy, or whatnot. Then you know what I mean?
Yeah, the DLC characters are really cool. I like that stuff.
I think one of the funniest Hard Times articles I saw, I think it was Hard Times, was they say is like new character to unlock in Mortal Kombat 11 is Dewey from Malcolm in the Middle.
Oh my God. He was the little one, right?
Yeah, he was little, not very strong, but manipulative as hell.
Evil. Yeah, exactly. I remember. That's a good one. I remember Mortal Kombat 9 kicked ass. It was a great, like, we're going to sum up the first 3 games in like a big remake. And they kind of gave the whole thing like a nice cohesive like story that made sense and kind of explained it all, like the story mode.
I never played it, but I watched friends play it, and you were absolutely right.
I should recommend like watching just the story mode on YouTube. It's like a movie. All these games, that's the thing, you don't even need to play The Last of Us. The Last of Us is fantastic. I heard the sequel sucked my balls. Everyone's just talking about how The Last of Us 2 was a giant disappointment because of Anita Sarkeesian. She's got like such a great track record of getting involved in video games and stuff or comic books and just like getting them all woke, and they make no money. Like I hear there's already copies of Last of Us 2 on the used shelves. You know, people are already trying to return them. But the first Last of Us is amazing, and Mortal Kombat. I remember Mortal Kombat 9. Like, it's got such a great like story, especially like for the nostalgia point of view, seeing like the first 3 Mortal Kombat games kind of remade. But yeah, back to what you're saying about the DLC characters, they had, I think it was Freddy Krueger was on the first one, and then I think Kratos.
Jason. I know they brought Freddy and Jason in later.
Yeah, Jason was on X, Mortal Kombat 10. Him and the Xenomorph,
and then
I think
Predator.
Also Predator. Yeah.
And
then this new one, Mortal Kombat 11, it's got fucking RoboCop on it, which I love.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Did you ever play RoboCop versus Terminator on Sega?
Hell yeah, dude. Yeah. Hell yeah, we did. Yeah, that was so violent. I remember you'd shoot people and their heads would like fly off their bodies and like spin around and there'd be a little blood circle.
And like the cheap 16-bit graphics.
I mean, yeah, it was still pretty good. I mean, it's fun. I mean, those good old scroll right, go right. You know, those old side-scrolling games are so fun. Yeah, man. I was saying Alien Isolation, absolutely terrifying. And then The Last of Us is actually also very terrifying. And it's also a great story. Like when the game's over and you beat the game, I think I said this on a previous stream, like when the final part of the game happens and the credits start rolling, you just want to get up out of your couch and start like clapping. You know, it's so satisfactory.
Did you hear who was making the new Mortal Kombat movie?
No, I remember they were making those little web shows, and there was the guy behind the Saw movies.
The James Wan.
Right.
Yeah, he's making the next feature-length Mortal Kombat movie.
Well, I gotta say, I hope that they're more like these new games, because those are spot on. And I remember really hating those little short films that James Wan had produced, because they were trying to do the Dark Knight thing. Like, we're gonna make it hyper realistic and gritty. Like they turned Baraka. Baraka was like a guy who was like a plastic surgeon who inserted
piercings and tattoos.
It's so dumb. It's like, no, dude, he's a Tarkatan. He's like a race of like demon creatures from the outworld, you know?
I liked the first one. I didn't really follow them after. I wasn't hooked after that.
Yeah.
Kind of reminded me of that dark, gritty Power Rangers follow-up short film.
Oh, yeah. Well, I never saw the newest Power Rangers movie.
Neither did I.
I heard it was actually okay, except like, you know, they spend way too much time before they're actually Power Rangers, you know? They, like most origin stories, like the Power Rangers don't show up until like the final act of the movie, basically.
Okay. Kind of like a Joker.
Yeah. Joker was fine, though. I like Joker because it was like, let's try to make a real movie, but we'll just disguise it as a comic book movie so we can actually make a real movie, because it seems like producers only give a shit about, you know, pre-existing intellectual properties. You know what I mean? Like they don't want to try to make anything new.
I got a funny story for you. When I saw Joker in the cinema, is you know when he's on the Franklin Murray show and he tells that knock knock joke?
Right.
Do you remember the knock knock joke?
It was no. I just saw it recently.
It was knock knock.
Who's there?
It's the police, ma'am. Your son's been hit by a drunk driver. He's dead.
Yeah, and they're like, that's not funny. That's not funny at all.
At that part, I burst into laughter. And then I realized I was the only one. Yeah. And it was incredibly uncomfortable.
I do that a lot at movies all the time, so don't even worry about it. I'm always like the most inappropriate moment, like, you know, it'll be like a dead silent theater. You'll just hear me like, like stifling. Yeah, it's good stuff. But I remember watching what was it? Back to, I think we're talking about video games.
Yeah,
these games are so terrifying. But yeah, I was saying Mortal Kombat is like it's some horrifying shit, especially these new ones. They're so violent. But the fact that all that shit was marketed to kids, you know, like Alien and Predator, they all had little action figures you could play with. And
they did. You know, I saw something recently that was talking about the step Terminator took from the first movie to the second movie, and how when the second movie came out is when they started marketing the Arnie action figures to kids.
Yeah. Terminator 2, I remember it was like a big secret, like that Arnold was going to be a good guy in that one. And, you know, they kind of spoiled it now all the time. But I remember that being like a big secret. Like, you know, Same thing with Aliens was another example. I always compare like the Terminator trilogy to the Alien trilogy because James Cameron's involved in both of those, even though more so in Terminator. But yeah, I was talking about how like all three of them are like kind of different genres. Like the first one is more of a slasher movie. The second one is like a balls to the wall action one.
Yeah.
And then the third one is like more like nihilistic, like there's no point anymore.
Yeah,
That's true for all three of them.
That's a good point.
Terminator 3 has some good, it's more comedy, but obviously Alien 3 is very grim and dark, but they both end very bleakly, which I kind of liked. I actually liked Terminator 3 and Alien 3.
I was gonna say the same thing. I do not hate those films
I
the
think
way
they're
the
great,
other
especially
fans
when
do.
you compare especially when you compare them to the other ones that came after those.
What was it? Dark
Fate was the most recent one. It was awful.
I didn't hate Dark Fate. It was okay.
Genesis was worse.
Yeah, it was.
Genesis was awful.
Genesis. One of the reasons I think a lot of these films have a hard time living up is audiences are too familiar.
Yeah, and at the same time, it's like they're trying to play it too safe. Like they're just soft reboots often, except they'll tweak little things here and there. It's like, let's see some crazy shit. Like, remember how in Terminator 2 they made the Terminator a good guy? Like, that's crazy. Like, let's get crazier. Let's get really out there.
I think their attempt at that in Genesis was turning John Connor, not Carpenter. I'm not talking Halloween here.
Still horror related.
John Connor into a villain.
Well, that's something that they keep doing, and I talked about this because I started doing these Dorkside streams back in January when I was doing me and a handful of people just had a 4-hour discussion about the Disney Star Wars trilogy and how horrible it was and how it just, weakened me in the knees. But yeah, that's a common thing they do. They take like pre-existing famous, usually male hero characters or whatever, and they try to bastardize them, turn them into unfavorable so that way they can prop up the new characters. So rather than make a new character that seems great, they're going to write a new character and just make the old characters like shit people. So that way this new character seems great in comparison.
Speaking of turning an old character new, did you see the 2010 Nightmare on Elm Street?
Yeah, I don't remember it. That's how you know it was good, right? When you don't remember anything.
I actually liked it.
Okay.
I think one of the reasons a lot of people criticize it is because they blatantly, it's not like implied, they blatantly make Freddy Krueger a pedophile in it.
Right.
Like they don't show anything like that, but they get by that's who he was. And I think the thing is Freddy Krueger's a likable character, and you can't like a character when he's a pedophile.
That's true. Because in the first one, they just kind of explained that what was it? They killed. Obviously, they burned him alive, but he was like a murderer.
He was a
child killer.
But I thought just everything they made about him, whether it was the first one or the 2010 one, child killer or child pedophile, it's what made him a monster.
Right. He's evil. He's Freddy Krueger.
Yeah. I mean, just because he says witty one-liners before he kills you.
Yeah. That's why people like Freddy more, because he talks. Like Jason, I love Jason. Jason, like when it was Freddy versus Jason, I was Jason all the way.
Same.
But Freddy has better movies. He kills you in more interesting ways, like the dream stuff. It's so cool.
It has more of a mythological
jokes.
touch.
He's evil. He's more evil. Freddy's more evil than
who won Freddy versus Jason?
Jason technically won, but at the end when he's walking with Freddy's head, like Freddy gives him a little wink, like the severed head gives a little wink. So
I always perceived it as Jason won round 1.
Right. Yeah, I would love a Freddy versus Jason part 2.
We never got round 2. Well, part 2 was supposed to be Freddy versus Jason versus Ash.
Oh yeah. Dude, I haven't finished it. I've been slowly watching it, but Ash versus the Evil Dead is actually very fun. I like it. I like it a lot. But it's also cool because it's like dumb and not so dense to where I can like watch an episode and wait a few days and pick up the next couple. I'm just kind of slowly burning through. I think I'm on the 2nd season.
I enjoyed Ashes versus Evil Dead.
Yeah, so Evil Dead 1 is great because they're trying to be scary and there's some parts that are legit creepy, but a lot of it comes off as kind of campy and fun on accident. And then the second and third one, they were like, fuck it, let's just go full blown camp. Let's just go full blown crazy, you know?
A few months ago in Austin, I went to a screening of Army of Darkness that Bruce Campbell was hosting.
Nice. What a celebrity. That's one of those guys that I would get starstruck around.
I did get a photo with him.
Yeah. I got a good, Weird Al was a good one that I met a couple times, but
nice.
I think Bruce Campbell, there's only a handful of celebrities that I like respect as people. You know what I mean? Most celebrities are fucking awful. Actors, fuck them. They're all narcissists and weird, and that's why I love when someone turns out this actor is a sexual deviant or something. It's like, what did you expect? He's an actor in Hollywood. What the hell is wrong with you? Of course I assume they're all sexual deviants, and you have to you're guilty until proven innocent. If you're an actor.
Yeah, it's funny is Kevin Spacey. He's one that happened with, but it's, you know, he's like exactly like all of his characters. His characters are usually horrible people.
Yeah. I mean, I loved. That's the thing is like, oh, I could never watch a Kevin Spacey movie again. It's like, what's wrong with you? Glenn Ross, American Beauty, Seven. These movies are fantastic. Like,
I'll do you one better. Someone was asking me like, how can you watch Arnie movies after his affair? I'm like, really?
Who?
Arnold, yeah, because he had an affair with his wife.
Well, first of all, he fucked his maid, which is not.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, first off, it's like that's none of our business.
No, yeah, you got to separate the art from the artist because most artists are awful. You have to understand they're all, you know, like my God, I'm by no means a saint or anything, but Arnold. That's the thing is like Arnold and Hugh Grant and all these idiots that like bang like they cheat on their wives with their maid. It's like, you know, that's like at least that makes more sense because like she's there all the time. She's like helping raise the kids. She's like, it seems like a logical person to kind of cheat on with, which, you know, I'm not validating or saying that that's good to cheat on your wife, but it's just like, it's not like he banged some lot lizard whore or something. It's not like he, you know, this person's like helping raise the kids. And also Arnold Schwarzenegger, Maria Shriver, she looks like damn Skeletor, you know? She's a horror show. She's a monster, but she is related to the Kennedys. But yeah, I mean, it's not like Arnold's. It's not like the maid he cheated on was like a fox or anything.
That kid looks exactly like him, though. How did that not raise any red flags?
Yeah, I was saying, look, I got this box of baby pics, and I'm like, I was gonna slowly.
Let's see them.
Slowly go through. This one was on. That's me right here. Let's see if I can make this bigger. Yeah, we got. This is picture one. This was on. I'm gonna go through this huge box of baby pics, but yeah, I was a cute baby. Yeah, I mean, most people look at this shit. This is some 90s. This is like when we used to hang out. This is me in the 90s. Look at this. Okay, like I want you to notice right here. First of all, like I'm wearing white jeans. Like nothing says the 90s like white jeans. And then this shirt I'm wearing, I actually dig it. I wish I still had it. Like, it looks cool. Obviously, it wouldn't fit me, but I'm saying I wish I had a shirt. I mean, like, that's like something Zach Morris from Saved by the Bell would wear. Anyway. But, let's see. Ash versus Evil Dead, Evil Dead 1, Army of Darkness, I loved. What was I saying? Oh, yeah, I started off with The Ring. I remember seeing The Ring in theaters. And that was one of those movies that was like, I guess I was in high school at the time, and that was one of those movies that really scared the shit out of everybody.
I wasn't.
Did you watch it in theaters?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it was just the fact that we were all just like, I went with a big group of people, and it was like very hyped up, but it very atmospheric and very rainy. And I just remember the thing about it, like obviously it's like super spooky and it's fun. But I just remember, like at the end, when the girl comes out of the TV, it wasn't like a jump scare. It wasn't like, oh, it was more like, holy shit, she's coming out of the TV. Oh my god, like he just kept like freaking out about it.
I understand and appreciate that art, but
yeah.
You know, I don't think I've seen a horror movie that has disappointed me more than the Blair Witch Project did.
Yeah. Did you know it was fake going in or something?
I mean, I went in assuming it was a fictional movie.
Yeah. I think that's the thing. Is like I remember in the I don't remember what movie talked about it recently. Oh, it was that Key and Peele movie. Keanu. There's that line where they're like, "Oh, I went to a pre-screening
of Blair Witch Project. He's like, oh yeah, that was back when we thought it was real. Because that was the thing, is like everyone thought it was real. The marketing on that movie was so brilliant because it was like, you know, mockumentary, cannibal Holocaust style, but really all over the internet, just presenting the fact that like these were real kids who went missing, filming a documentary in the woods, and this is their found footage. We don't know what happened to them. But then in hindsight, it's like, well, very clearly from the documentary, it looks like a fucking witch got them. Like,
from what I saw, I would have guessed it looks like they got lost and starved to death.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I remember the Blair Witch like had such hype. That was like one of the first times getting on the internet, reading about the Blair Witch Project. Like I remember we went to it was like me and my mom and my brother went to Florida and went to Disney World and Islands of Adventure, Universal Studios, that whole stupid shit. And then we went to Disney Quest, which was this fucking like 3-story arcade that Disney had in Florida, in Orlando. And I remember we had a fourth. We could do whatever we want that fourth day. We're like, let's go back to Disney Quest because it was like $20. You pay $20 or whatever to get in. You walk in, and it was just like a 3-story arcade, and all the arcades had like a little push button, so it wasn't like quarters. The only games that cost money were the ones that you could win prizes from. So, and it was just awesome for us. And then on top of that, like my mom, for the adults, there's like a big like cafe area with like multiple little restaurants, and each table had a little computer with like internet, which was like for 1998 or whatever. That was awesome, you know?
That's sci-fi shit for 1998.
Yeah. Oh, also really cool stuff that they had at Disney Quest was like little drawing studio classes. So if you filled in your name and got in on the schedule, they would put you in a big room where everyone had little tablets, like drawing tablets, and you'd learn how to draw Goofy from an actual like Disney animator. He'd show you. It was cool. There's a lot of cool stuff out there. But I remember hearing about the Blair Witch Project for the first time in that little cafe, and I was like, whoa, we got to see this shit. And then, yeah, I remember in the theater, I went with Larry Medina, who I remember this is the funniest part about the Blair Witch Project was we went to the movie. We wait in line. There's a big fucking line because this is, you know, back in the old days where first come, first served, you know, which I miss, really. I don't like assigned seating. I hate it.
Yeah.
Assholes just show up 15 minutes late. They're like, whatever, dude, I got fucking front row center. I can just sit wherever I want. You know, I sit right in my prime seats. They were held for me. But anyway, we get in line and we're waiting for the previous screening to end. And like, it's taking forever. Like everyone left and they're not letting anyone back in. And then eventually like an attendant comes out and he's like, sorry, people, this is taking forever. We had a few people vomit in the screen. So we were like, oh my God, this movie's going to be so scary. But it turned out it's like people are vomiting from all the handheld motion from the cameras and stuff. And I remember we ate like a bunch of cheddars because that Tinseltown on the east side was like right next to that Cheddar's.
Yeah.
And I remember we had like a huge cheeseburger, and I remember Larry like towards like the 2/3 of the movie in, he's like, oh, I feel sick. Like, my stomach hurts. And that's when it clicked. I was like, oh, this movie's not scary. It's like people are vomiting because they just don't like the fluid camera. You know, it's rough. But yeah, I remember like that's the thing is like I like cheesy scary movies too. I like shitty bad movies, but
I ask is they're fun.
Yeah, exactly. Blair Witch, in hindsight, knowing it's all fake, it's like, yeah, we all got played. The thing is, it was scary for me and a bunch of people because we all thought it was real. And I remember I didn't realize it was fake until the MTV Movie Awards when they won like best ensemble cast or best movie or something. And like all 3 of the actors came out. They're like, thank you so much. We love you. We're like, I thought you were dead. I thought I feel so lied to. That was the day that I realized, like, don't trust anything you see on the fucking TV.
You know, one of the funnest, best horror movies ever, solely on how bad it is.
Right, go for it.
Cheerleader Massacre.
Well, I haven't seen this one. Is this 80s or recent?
No, not even. Like early 2000s.
Okay,
but
cool.
they got a bunch of like fairly not old but older porn stars to play high school girls.
Anyone I would know?
I don't remember names off the top of my head, but let's just say even if you looked at them, you would say that's a porn actress, not a high school student.
Yeah. I remember the same thing with Red Dawn and Saved by the Bell. It's like these people are all in Scream. They're all in their 20s, you know. They're all in their
late 20s, early 30s.
I'm 17.
Well, what's so funny about this movie is
Cheerleader Massacre, you said?
Yes. Forgetting that they come up with any reason to plug a nude scene in there. You know, it's so poorly made. There's like a police chase scene where a car goes off a bridge. But they clearly took a scene from an old movie because they didn't have it in the budget to have a car explode. But it's a different car going off the bridge.
Nice. That's good. You got your certain footage you got to use, you know. Let's see if we can pull up the trailer for this movie. Here we go. Let's see. We'll pull the screen share audio. Bang. Let's see. Can you hear this? Turn it up. Give me a D. Oh, we'll give you a D. Yeah. I see what you're saying. Just when you thought it was safe. Oh, my Lord. Oh, it's Sorority House and Slumber Park Massacre. Okay, it's a sequel. All right. You know, poor cheerleaders. They don't get enough credit. Was that Clint Eastwood with a shotgun?
I don't remember Clint Eastwood being in the movie.
Yeah. No, these aren't actual. These are like softcore porn stars, I think. I don't think no famous ones. I remember seeing that. You remember Piranha 3D?
Yes.
That was actually very good. Christopher Lloyd. Who else was in it? Was it Ving Rhames? A few other people, but I remember all the random chicks that get killed. They're all porn stars. Like it was like Gianna Michaels. She's the one with the huge titties. She's like on the parasail who gets her legs eaten off. And there was like the girl, like what's her name? Ashlyn something or other. She's the one who gets like cut in half by the cord and her titties fall out and then she like falls into multiple pieces. And I remember thinking in the movie, like, I know that lady. I've definitely seen that woman before multiple times, if you get my drift.
I think that reminds me of a meme I saw earlier today. It says, when you're watching a porno and you recognize that scene from a meme.
Yeah. It's like, oh, this is the one. I mean, that's true with like movies and TV shows too. Like, oh, this is where that GIF is from. I've always wanted to know where that GIF is from. Holy crap.
I think a cool one I saw was you're watching a classic horror movie and you recognize an audio clip from a metal song.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Rob Zombie. That's what I was saying. I loved Rob Zombie growing up. Like, you know, Marilyn Manson and some of the other more hardcore guys, they were too depressing and too, like, real. I like Rob Zombie because he was all like, hey, man, remember Bela Lugosi? And you like strippers and old monster movies, you know? That's why I like Rob Zombie, because, like, all of his samples were all old.
Guar was a fun one, too.
Yeah, well, there was City of the Dead was one that he sampled a lot. A few other ones. I love Living Dead Girl. Yeah, and all of his movies. I remember hearing like 10 years ago he was planning to remake The Blob, and god damn it,
never happened.
I would love to see that still.
You know, I have an unpopular opinion in that I liked his Halloween.
Oh, really? Yeah, that is an unpopular opinion. And the reason is because they gave too much of a backstory to Michael Myers. It's more interesting when he's just like this mysterious. He's just evil. He's just crazy and evil.
I appreciate that opinion. I'm not saying it was better than the original, but I did appreciate it. Yeah, I think it was definitely better than some of the sequels.
For sure. But yeah, I actually like the Danny McBride one that came out recently.
Oh, that one. Well, yeah.
That was actually great. Jamie, I mean, this idea that we're going to retcon these series now, like fucking no sequels of Halloween have happened, and this is now Halloween 2. This is the new Halloween 2.
Well, it was kind of exciting. The day I saw that one is I was in the UK at the time, and I went to a horror convention earlier in the day and met the actor who played Michael Myers in Rob Zombie's Halloween. Yeah.
He's a huge ass dude, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. He's a freaking tower.
Yeah, man. Same thing with Jason. What was the guy
Kane
who played
Hodder.
Jason? He died recently, right?
Kane Hodder, no.
Okay, good. Bless him. Bless him.
He's You know, he's going to be at Texas Frightmare in September, which I'm hoping still happens.
Okay. Yeah, for sure. I mean, the whole convention thing, I'm like a huge Comicsgate fan, and like they're all been talking about it for years. Like they've been talking about for the past 2 years that conventions are lame anyway, because like from a comic book artist point of view, you know, and the idea is like COVID is like making all these like conventions go. They're like, oh, well, we're going to start doing these virtual conventions. And it's funny because Comicsgate has been doing these YouTube videos live. Because that's the thing is like Comicsgate, I don't know if you're not familiar, it's just basically the idea that these artists are like independently releasing their own intellectual property comic books on Indiegogo, and they're marketing them on their YouTube channels. And like you got Ethan Van Sciver, who did Green Lantern, Rebirth, and a bunch of other stuff at DC. He's doing his own DC, his own Cyberfrog comic. And, you know, he's got his YouTube channel, and he does his live videos where he just rants about the comic book industry for like a couple hours, and he gets like 1,700 people watching.
Not bad.
And he's like, dude, this is like, why would I ever go to a convention ever again when I can just do a convention from my own house? And he does this. He uses StreamYard. That's why I use StreamYard, because all these comic pros use it. And
I don't know. I'm still all about the in-person experience.
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, you'd love to like meet someone, but I mean, it's great if like it's in your own town. You know, I'm not gonna fly out to fucking Florida to go shake hands with Alex Ross as much as I love the guy.
Same, but
yeah.
I'll drive up to Dallas from Austin for it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. I agree. Like but I mean, the problem is I'm a giant cheapskate. So the idea of going to a convention, it's just like everyone's just trying to hawk their wares at you, you know? Like, oh, you want to meet so-and-so? He's doing signed autographs for like $50 or $100 or whatever.
What
and I'm
blows my mind is if it's the person like Robert Englund of Freddy Krueger or Kane Hodder of Jason. I understand that outrageous fee, but I've seen it before where it's like some no-namer that was the stunt man that was the guy for 5 seconds in one of the movies.
But that's why those conventions are depressing, because you feel like a lot of these washed-up celebrities. I was like, I played this horror guy like 30 years ago, and now I'm sitting at a little folding table just asking for money. Please, just give me money. Please, I'm sitting here hoping I can pay my rent.
It's not only they played them, it's like they just did their stunts for 10 seconds of a scene.
Yeah, that's bad for sure.
And it's like, no, you don't get to call yourself Freddy Krueger or Jason.
Yeah.
You haven't earned that.
I think that kind of going back to your Nightmare on Elm Street remake, I think the problem was I just couldn't get over, you know, England not playing him, you know. It's just
I'm pretty convinced that as far as a feature film, Freddy vs. Jason was the send-off for Robert Englund.
Yeah. I mean, you know, and it's like, obviously, like you said, I would love a Freddy versus Jason part 2, but if they were like, we're recasting Freddy, I'd be like, just don't bother. Just, you know.
Who would you like to see battle off that we haven't seen in a movie?
Well, obviously, I loved the first Child's Play. That movie is actually legit scary.
Oh, that was dark.
Chucky is cool, and I hated. Did you see the remake of Child's Play with Mark Hamill
and Aubrey Plaza?
Aubrey Plaza I liked her. She's great, and I like the idea of having like a young hip mom.
Yeah.
I didn't really like the idea that they're like, oh, we're gonna buy this like toy like as like an ironic gift for my, you know, preteen son. The idea in the first one, like the kid wanted the toy so bad, and she felt like a failure of a mother if she couldn't get it, which is why she buys this toy from like some guy in some homeless guy in an alley sells her some used one, and she feels like such a good mother when she gets it to him, and he's so happy to get that toy, you know, and that's what makes it so
more heart.
Up.
It had more heart.
Yeah, and that's what makes it more fucked up in the end.
Well, you know, the new one, it even had a shout out to Leprechaun.
Oh yeah. What was it?
The Buddy dolls also came in Leprechaun and teddy bear form.
Oh my god, I didn't notice that part, but yeah, I just remember thinking like, the idea, like, yeah, Chucky is a serial killer who uses voodoo. It's supernatural. It's not a fucking broken iPad that, you know, an iToy that goes crazy. It's not AI. It's literally a serial killer puts his body into a doll temporarily, and that's why I like part 2 too. Child's Play 2 was great because it's all about like, I'm in this body too long. If I do not get a human host soon, I'm stuck in the body. And that's what happens at the end of the movie. He's like, nose starts bleeding. He tries the ritual. It doesn't work. And then he's like, fuck this. I'm going to kill you. Now I'm going to kill Andy.
By Bride of Chucky, it was a comedy.
Well, yeah, Chucky 3 was the first one where it started getting really, really funny because 2 was like not as scary, but way gorier. And then 3 was like, it starts getting that Godfather syndrome where it's just not as good as the first 2. But I still like part 3. The idea that Andy's now a teenager, he's into girls, he's in military school because he's a fucking orphan his whole life or whatever. His mother's like in a loony bin because they're talking about this killer doll, like it's scary.
Well, the past 2 films, what was it, Curse of Chucky and Cult of Chucky, have brought back. They brought back the character who played the actor who played Andy and Kyle from 2. Yeah,
I remember that. Yeah, he's got the Chucky doll like in a safe or something that he tortures or whatever.
I got a story. Like the week I saw that movie, in Liverpool, England at the time, I'm in a McDonald's a few days after seeing it, and I had a Chucky phone case.
Nice.
Some little kid in McDonald's, like I swear, this kid was like maybe the equivalent of like first grade. Oh, cool. Chucky. I'm like, yeah, you like Chucky? And he says, did you see the new one? I'm like, I did. And he says, I like it when he's burning his face with the torch. And I'm like,
you remind me of myself when I was a young boy, Mr.
Oh, my first instinct was shock, and then my follow-up was what you just said. It's like, well, I did the same at your age.
That brings joy to my heart. Like, oh, thank God they're not like, because I was thinking about my mom. It's like, yeah, watch whatever fucking horror movie you want. I remember when I was at Christmas at my grandma's house, my dad's side of the family out in Beaumont. My grandmother, I must have been like 6 or 7 years old, and I got a VHS cassette of American Werewolf in London. It's like, here's a movie for you. You like werewolves? Sure, watch this movie. And I gotta say, American Werewolf in London is probably the greatest werewolf movie of all time. It is so good. And I've talked about it on multiple streams before, and I recommend it to people all the time. I think it's Edgar Wright's favorite movie. I think he's talked about that multiple times, but it's just like the first horror. It's like the best depiction of a werewolf. Like, it's a satanic curse from hell. It's a supernatural thing, and you're probably going to kill yourself before,
you overcome it.
Yeah. There's like the idea that, everyone you kill like starts haunting you in your waking days, and the idea that you like the idea that turning into a werewolf hurts, and the idea that like killing all these people at the night of the full moon, it's something that would riddle you with guilt. Like, you'd probably like kill yourself. But that was the thing, is there's a scene in American Werewolf in London where he's trying to like calls his family. He ends up talking to his sister for a little bit, tells him to say, I love you and all this stuff. And he tries to like slash his wrist in that phone booth, and he can't even do it because he's a damn coward.
I remember the film, one of the classics I actually saw at your house, From Dusk Till Dawn.
Hell yeah, dude. I remember seeing that movie in the theaters with my mom and Pete Landerman. We were 10 years old. And I remember my friend Pete was like, are we allowed in here? Like, what are we doing? And I was like, shh, it's fine.
The Selma Hayek scene. Whew.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's the thing, is like Quentin Tarantino's foot fetish. It's so obvious, like now in hindsight, but it's like, yeah, how about the part where we'll have the sexy dancer put her foot in my mouth and I'll drink tequila off of her toes? Like, you bastard, you did that on purpose.
And it's like, I'm going to get paid to do this too.
Yeah. It's like, I should be paying you. I mean, Lord, Salma Hayek, she's one of those.
I remember how excited we were for a second one, and then how disappointing the sequels were.
Yes. I actually did like 3 a little bit. The prequel where it's like the Hangman's daughter or something. It's called. It's all about how Salma Hayek's character became Santanico Pandemonio. Yeah. But I mean, still nowhere near as good as the first one. And I remember, dude, here's a funny story. I remember always telling someone, whenever I recommend From Dusk Till Dawn, you got to tell them it's the Quentin Tarantino vampire movie. You have to say it's a vampire movie, because what happened was, I think I was showing my friend Ricky the movie, and I know for a fact, like the night before, I was like, oh, because she was like talking about Quentin Tarantino, and I was like, have you seen True Romance or From Dusk Till Dawn? Because a lot of people don't realize that he wrote those. Same thing with Natural Born Killers. But I remember she's like, oh, I've never seen From Dusk Till Dawn. I was like, dude, Mexican vampires, Mexican stripper vampires, like hell yes, let's do it. And then I guess like after that night of drinking, we watched the movie, and I guess she like forgot that I had said vampires, which I don't believe. Like, it's so unbelievable. But I remember when the vampires finally show up, she was just so turned off by the movie all of a sudden. She's like, what the? She's like, what the fuck's happening? What is this stupid shit?
It
Whereas
does take a turn. I mean,
if you know the vampires are coming, it's like you're like, where are the vampires? When do they come? So when they finally show up, you're like, oh, finally, this is going to be badass. But like, if you have no idea what's happening, you get really invested in the whole bank robbery run to the border story. And I remember feeling very shitty after that because she was like, I don't even want to watch this anymore. This is dumb. And I was just like, holy shit, this is like the worst experience watching this movie ever.
Something that took a few watches for me to notice is how Cheech Marine plays 3 characters in that movie.
Yeah. He's the Border Patrol agent. He's the bouncer, the door guy, and then he's the
con man at the end, the one that's trying to meet
what's
George
his name?
Clooney.
Carlos.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like,
that's my favorite part.
Were they a bunch of psychos or something?
Psychos? Is that what they look like? They look like psychos to you? They were vampires.
It's like
psychos do not explode
blow up when the sun hits them, no matter how crazy they are.
Fuck how crazy they are. And then he's like, oh, and then again, back to the whole beginning when Quentin Tarantino and George Clooney are arguing at that motel. They're talking about like, we got to pay him 25% or whatever of our stolen bank money so we can have safe passage to stay in Del Rey in Mexico. And they're like, oh, maybe we can haggle him down to 15%. Quentin Tarantino says, he's like, these are not Mexican firecracker salesmen from Tijuana. We don't just barter with them. This is what we agreed on. That's what we're going to pay. And then at the end of the movie, when he's telling them like, hey, my brother's dead, this girl's entire family's dead, and it's all because you picked this place out of the hat. You've never been to this bar, have you? He's like, no, I drove by it a couple times. It looked like a rowdy place. You know, he's just like, of course I've never been here. And it's just like, oh my God. And he's like, well, Seth, how can I make it up to you? And he's like, 15% instead of 30. Like, that's a good start. And they start haggling again. They settle on like 25 or something. But yeah, everything he says at the end of that movie, he's like, hey man, I got Mexican and domestic beers, man. It's like, dude, we just got through hell. Like, all of our friends are dead. I don't want a beer. Like, please, like, leave me alone.
You know, I would have gone inside it if it was open, but somewhere in Arizona is a titty bar called From Dusk Till Dawn.
Oh.
But like the outside is very titty twister themed, like with gargoyles.
It better be.
I have never seen it since, but if it was open, I'd make time to go in.
I mean, you know, I remember going to actual bars in Mexico growing up in El Paso that looked like the interior of that titty twister bar, like JC's and some other ones. I remember it's like earthen walls and like, kind of, that look, it's just like, it looks like a cave. Like you're in a cave with some lights and shit. But yeah, From Dusk Till Dawn is such a badass movie. And even though like all the vampire stuff, like it's, it doesn't really make a lot of sense. There's like a lot of leaps in logic.
I think one thing I kind of laugh at, and I guess anyone will defend this on the basis of, well, it was in Mexico, is how they got that kid into a fucking titty bar. For sure.
It is in Mexico. No, I remember I was hitting up bars and titty bars when I was like 15, 16. They don't even fucking card you. They don't give a shit. They don't care. That's the thing about WADA is when you'd walk down the street, because as soon as you cross into Mexico, you basically, you know this, but you'd park your car downtown El Paso. It's like a 15-minute drive from the west side. You park your car in downtown of the city in a parking lot, and then you just walk across a bridge. It's a 5-minute walk. Pay 35 cents to cross into Mexico, and bam, you're in Mexico. And it's like another world as soon as you get out of that bridge. There's like drugstore, bar, drugstore, burger
taco
shop,
stand.
Yeah. I mean,
don't get into a fight.
Oh no, yeah, for sure. And then like, the farther you went down, the shadier it got. I remember there was like this titty bar where like the ladies would like go up and like keep buying them like fucking sophomore, junior in high school. These big fat strippers with cesarean scars would come out of the club and they'd start like grabbing you by the dick and shit, like in your pants, like, hey, come inside. And what they're actually trying to do is steal your wallet. They're actually trying to grab your wallet. And it's just like, get away from me. And that's why, like, you don't walk past like those 3 blocks, like you stay on the strip right next to the bridge. That's where it's safest.
Yeah, I didn't deviate from the strip very often.
No, driving into Mexico was terrible because like
I never did that.
No, because like
doing that in my car.
Your car's gonna get searched on the way back in. Where if you walk in, you can have all kinds of fucking drugs and shit in your pockets. They don't give a shit. And I remember coming back and not even saying like, because this is like it's still technically post 9/11, but it was like it was before like you needed a passport to cross in and out of America.
Yeah.
Because like we would just have like our fucking Franklin ID. It just had a picture of me, my name, and like the year I graduated, 2004. And I'd just be like, American, like all drunk as hell. Like, here's my high school ID, dude.
I haven't been since 07.
Yeah. We went all the time, like in high school. I remember it was just rowdy.
I think once I hit 21, it just going wasn't.
Oh, yeah. When I moved here to
point.
Austin, I was 18, and there was like, get a fake ID, go to 6th Street, man. I was like, God, I can't even drink anymore. Like, you know how much drinking I've done in Mexico in the past 2 years? Like, you know what it's like to have access to $10 drink and drown?
Thing is I only really like a bar or two in all of 6th Street.
Oh, yeah, 6th Street sucks. I mean, like I said, I'm 30-something years old, and I remember by the time I was like 23, I was like, I'm only coming out here to play shows. And, you know, I'll go to shows that I get in for free. I'm not, you know, I'm just not into it. I just don't like bars in general. I'm more of like a Moe's Tavern type person. Oh, shit. We got Jaime Hong, dude, also from El Paso.
Right on.
Oh, man. What up, dude?
Pedro?
How you been, brother?
Very good. Yourself?
I mean, we're good, man. We're just over here talking about Juarez right now, going to drink $10 drinking drown. The good old days.
To it.
Yeah, I was like, that shit made me a man. Like, by the time I was like 18, I was already like, couldn't even smell tequila. I was like, get this shit away from me. Oh, God.
Drink and drown, huh? At the
Yeah,
Derby?
dog. It's funny because like people who were very like sheltered and couldn't drink alcohol when they were in high school, they all get out of high school and they go off the rails. I was the exact
Every
opposite.
Thursday.
Yeah, Thursday at what was it? There was Reno's and JC's and Tequila Derby and
Fred's.
The Cave.
Fred's. Dude, I remember that black and white checkered building that had the best fucking cheeseburgers, man.
Oh, I vaguely remember that.
Yeah, and they'd give you they had like 3 huge bowls of pickled onions and they were all different colors and they all tasted the same. There's literally just food coloring in them. But I remember they give you that's the thing is like, you know, you're in a legit Mexican burger place or a Mexican place when they give you a burger with like sliced ham, grilled ham, and then like little grilled hot dog slices, you know, on the burger too. God damn, my mouth is watering thinking about it.
I actually went to a bullfight in Juarez once.
A bullfight?
Yeah.
Those are depressing.
In 99, it was.
Man.
I don't even know if Mexico still has bullfights.
Yeah, that's one of those things.
Yeah, they do.
They do? Because I don't think Spain has them anymore.
Aguascalientes.
Yeah, as long as they kill and eat the bull afterwards, you know, it's all good.
You gotta say, you can criticize that sport all day. I ain't gonna try and defend it ethically, but there is no denying that takes some fucking balls.
Yeah. I mean, you ever see the video where the guy? I mean, I can't show this one, but there's the video where the bullfighter gets like the bull like under the floor, goes in his face and like rips his whole face out, and he's like still alive.
Yeah.
Horrifying.
Shit.
Or getting gored in the asshole, or getting gored like flying into the air. Like you don't want that. You don't want that, dude.
And I was also told of some incidences where the bull manages to jump into where the audience is, and then everybody just runs like a motherfucker.
Sometimes those bulls are smart. They realize like these fuckers are gonna kill me. Like I get out of here. That's the running of the bulls. I don't understand that shit in Spain.
Well,
the running of the bulls. That sounds fucking crazy.
Those fights is like they don't just kill the bull when they can. Like they rile it up.
They really torture it.
Very pissed off.
I don't like. They like the audience blows those little paper darts into it and stuff. It's kind of fucked up. But you know, I don't really care. I mean, whatever. That's one of those things. But what are you doing, Jaime? Are you in El Paso? Where are you at?
Yeah, dude.
Nice. How is it?
It's all right. Just here hanging out.
Everything's all right now because no one could go out. It doesn't matter where you live. It's like
Well, we had the bars open and they just closed them down.
Yeah.
What was it? Saturday.
Yeah.
You know,
well, it's just all weird because like I'm hearing like, you know, because I was like all about the coronavirus back in December when it was first showing up in China. I was like, oh my God, this is it. This is disease X. Like we're gonna have 4 million dead people in America by April. And then like, some shit happened and I don't know what's going on. The virus just doesn't seem that bad anymore compared to, you know, virulence, like how fatal it is, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
Obviously it's like, I'm not saying it's not real or it's a joke or don't take it seriously, but You know, like I don't think we should close down shit anymore until like we get 1 million dead at least. Like that's the like we can't do this shit again. You know, I don't care.
Did anybody else notice in March they put the movie Outbreak on Netflix?
Yeah, that's
Yeah. With the monkey.
Yeah.
that I loved Outbreak. Outbreak was,
With the
but it's like it sucks because they contained the whole town, and there's the little monkey, and it's like an airborne like Ebola virus. Basically, it makes you bleed out all your orifices and shit. That's horrifying. But,
there's actually a movie called Coronavirus.
oh yeah,
Is it a documentary or is it like a fiction?
No, it's like a fiction movie. I think that came out before all this even happened.
was it Chinese? I know there was like a Chinese movie where they were talking about the coronavirus. Well, because the coronavirus is like the common cold is the coronavirus. But COVID.
Yeah, I guess it's a little bit heavier.
Yeah, well, what's fucked up? Well, I mean, back to like the whole weird stuff about like the testing is like if you have antibodies for any coronavirus, including like the common cold, that counts as a case.
Oh,
and
yeah.
what I also heard was if they test you and you test positive, they'll test you multiple times to make sure that you don't have it anymore. And each time you test positive, that counts as another case.
Oh, really?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's weird shit. I mean, obviously, there is a spike going on, and you know, it's like this idea that it's from. I was saying this the other day, like it's all from Memorial Day reopening and bars. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about, dude? There's people doing these like protests for the past like month. And they're like every day out there, like we got 60,000 people out in Houston on one of these weekends. And you're telling me that had nothing to do with this giant influx of like 1,000+ cases a day out here in Houston? My mom's out like 15 minutes from Houston, you know?
Yeah.
But she's in
Where are you at?
town. Well, I'm visiting my mom. I'm in Austin. So is Donovan.
Oh.
But
Okay.
I'm actually visiting my mom in Alvin near Houston and Alvin. And it's like small town Texas. And so it's like way chiller here, but they're still like, they're back to like the masks are required to get into HEB and stuff. And that's fine. Like, I don't mind it. I'm not one of these guys like, I ain't going to wear a mask. It's like, dude, I need to get groceries. Like, I don't give a shit. Like what, you know,
Yeah.
if, you know, it's like, what difference does it make? It really doesn't make one. You're going to wear it for 5 minutes. Get your Worcester sauce and get the fuck out of there, you know?
It's all the, as they call them, the Karens are throwing a fit.
You know, I got to say the Karen thing's getting old because, like, the Karen thing, first of all, I know some people named Karen. I feel sorry for them. It's just like a dude named Chad. What's up?
Kyle.
Is that your son, Jaime?
Yeah, it's my kid.
Wow, the fruit of your loins.
He just got in town
Nice. Well, that's
from
cool.
Mexico.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I was saying with God, what was I saying? Sorry. I don't remember. Shit. Anyway, what's your kid's name?
Elian.
Elian.
Saluda.
How's he doing? How old is he?
He's playing Fortnite.
Of course he is. All the kids play Fortnite.
Yeah.
You missed it earlier. We were talking about like jumping on trampolines and like knocking on your friend's house and finding out if they can go play basketball or whatever. That's what we had to do.
Yeah.
Now it's like I'm just gonna play Fortnite. I started talking to all my friends.
Yeah, nobody does that shit no more.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's like I was a lazy kid back then too. It's like I remember like playing basketball. I don't want to play basketball, but I guess I will if that's what everyone else is doing. You know,
Right?
it's like shit.
You live right there on High Ridge, huh? In the corner?
Huh? Oh yeah,
You lived on High Ridge, right?
yeah, for sure.
Right down the
Dominic,
corner. I remember.
Donovan too. I keep calling you Dominic because I was talking to my uncle earlier. I'm sorry, Donovan.
That's fine.
Donovan lived on the same street on Featherhawk. Yeah, that's how we knew each other. He was like a year older than me. But
All right.
yeah, I don't know. I wanted to talk about like horror movies and stuff, and I found all these kid pictures of me, and I was like, yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. But I remember Donovan's like a huge horror freak too, and look at this. Look at this. Look at me in a like my little I got a little Superman outfit and a life jacket. My mom and my little brother Aldo. It's so weird.
Where's Aldo at now?
Aldo's still in El Paso.
Okay.
My little brother. Yeah,
I ran into him a couple times in like 2012, 2013.
Yeah, he's like a science teacher out at I can't remember what high school he is at, but whatever. It's one of them. I think the one downtown. Like one of them downtown. But
Okay.
oh no, he's teaching at
Ohio.
no, he's teaching at one of the it's not like Raymond
Private school?
but it's like one of the alternative programs, you know, where he teaches like the kids that are like trying to get their GEDs early or special. Or
Okay. Is it Academy?
I don't
Academy
think.
West.
I don't think so. But maybe. Shit, let's see if I can invite Aldo in here if he can come in here. But yeah, I've been digging these StreamYard sessions. I've been doing them every Monday because it all started like I did some Star Wars thing because I hated the new Star Wars movies. And then I just started like trying to do it every Monday after that. And I remember the first several were like kind of meh. But then once the quarantine happened, it was like people were like, yo, man, you going to be doing that thing on Monday where we can drink and talk about it? I miss people. It's like,
So it's like
I see you guys get out there and have some drinks once in a while, right?
Yeah, but I'm over here in Alvin visiting my mom. She had like some knee surgery, and I was gonna be there. I was gonna be here for just 2 weeks, but now I think I'm gonna extend to 3 weeks because like my friend Ashley, I told her to like stay at my house on the weekends. She works like in Dripping Springs and lives in San Antonio, but then she thinks she got the Rona, so she's like just staying in the house. And I'm like, you just take however long you need. I'll just stay here. You know, whenever you're feeling better, I'll come back and whatever. It's take your time. But like I said, it's just who knows? Like she could just have like the regular flu. I don't know.
I woke up the other night with a horrible stomach ache, wanting to barf, and for like a good 30 minutes, I was in my head. This is it. You have it. You have it.
Yeah.
I made my way back to sleep, and then when I woke up, I felt fine again. I'm like, you might have been overreacting.
Look at this. Look what I just found in this box of shit. It's a let me see if I can go. Okay, like it's like a party invite it's a Goosebumps.
Oh shit! Hell yeah!
That's a classic.
Curly, that's what they called him.
Yeah, beware, you're in for a scare. Well, that's the thing. It makes more sense that this would be mine because my birthday is on October 25th. So I always had Halloween themed.
I remember.
That's the thing is like, I remember someone complaining about like people who celebrate their birthday for like longer than a day, like a week or a month. And it's really old and lame when you're like in your 30s. Like, come on, dude. Like nobody cares. But for me, it's like, no, dude, that whole week up to Halloween, that's my birthday. Like, I don't give a shit. Like, I don't care. Like, that's how it is.
You know, my birthdays are hit and miss. In England, I had a few good, I was on a roll where every year my birthday was on something exciting. On 1 year, Prodigy was playing in London with Public Enemy.
Nice.
So I'm like, yeah, no, you're going to that. Another year, Marilyn Manson was playing.
Hell yeah. Look at Aldo right here after his first communion eating McDonald's.
Oh, yeah.
He's just like, what? You taking a picture of me? Aldo. We send Aldo a link to this thing if he wants to come in. He's probably asleep, though.
Here, I got a good one right here.
Let's see here. Let me see here. Wait.
That's me scratching my butt.
Oh. Hell yeah. From when? When is this from?
Look right there.
Nice. How old are you? Like 10 years old, 12
We're
years old?
in Tornado, I think, right there.
Hell yeah.
Tornado.
I was joking about I was joking on the last stream I had about how Paul Deemer was on the last one I had, and we were talking about marching band and all this other shit. And I remember saying, like, I remember hating the middle school uniform, Hornados. And then now that I'm older, it's like I wear polo shirts and khaki pants all the time. I love polo.
Oh, you were a drummer. Remember, I played the damn flute like a fucking girl.
No, it's cool, man. We were talking about all those cute flute girls that would get that green soul patch because like the nickel would like react to their makeup and give them like a stain, like it would stain their skin under their lip. Let's see.
I have one.
Oh,
look what's in my hand.
Is that a Goosebumps book?
That is a Goosebumps.
Which book is that?
A Shocker on Shock Street.
Nice. I remember like, everyone had like a huge collection of all of them and they were like collecting them from like book fairs and stuff. And it's like, have you read them all? It's like, no.
I read all of them.
I probably read like a handful of them. Yeah. I liked those choose your own adventure.
Oh, yeah.
Goosebumps stories. Those were fun. Because you could read like one adventure in like 5-10 minutes. Let's see here. We got
I'm trying to find my brother here.
Look at this handsome devil. Little guy.
4th, 5th grade in that one?
Yeah, maybe. Let's see. It says on the back it's like 1993. Age 8 years old. Hell no, I was in 2nd grade. Back when Yeah. Back when I was like obsessed with Power Rangers, man.
Oh yeah. Which one were you? The red one?
I guess in hindsight, I guess now I'd probably gravitate to the Red Ranger, but I think when I watched it, I liked Tommy, the Green Ranger.
Later on, the White Ranger.
Yeah, everyone had a crush on the Pink Ranger. Everyone had a crush on Kimberly.
One of my first Halloweens. I'm the smaller one.
Oh, let's see here. Hang on.
Not the ghost.
What are you dressed as?
I don't know, just some outfit with like pumpkins and orange on it.
Dang, nice.
That's cool. I got another one. Just up as a chicken.
Oh hell yeah!
All right, yeah.
Costume. That's a great costume. Just dress as a chicken. I like these more generic. These more generic costumes. Like I remember one year I got a I still wear it to like music festivals and concerts and shit all the time. But it's like a badass, like full blown $100 NASA flight suit, not a spacesuit, but like the Flask flight suit, the overalls,
Yeah.
And it's got all these great pockets and stuff, and it looks totally legit. And I remember when I wore that as Halloween, that was the year The Martian came out with Matt Damon. And everyone was like, "Oh, The Martian," and I'm like, "No, I'm just an astronaut. I'm just a guy from NASA. I don't have to be from a movie."
I have a horrifying Halloween mask. If y'all want to sit tight, I'll go grab it. It's another room.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I love these. What the hell? It's like here's me and my cousin. My cousin's like feeding me some ice cream or something. I don't even know. I think we're at my aunt's house. There's a huge box of baby pictures here. I'm like worried.
Yeah,
I'm worried I'm gonna dig through here and find some like sex pictures of my parents or something like that. Like, no.
Here's this one.
Let's see here. Hang on, let me.
That was the Halloween right there.
Hell yeah! What was? Damn, you guys are all dressed like a bunch of like Godfather kids. You're a bunch of gangsters and shit.
We don't know what we were, but we just dressed up.
Yeah, that was the thing. I remember one year. I guess when Donovan gets back in here, I'll talk about it. But it was like, yeah. The ideas back then, because that was the thing. Is I think when you get into like early puberty, you're like, "Oh, I'm too old for Halloween," and then once you get back to like late teenagers, early 20s, you're like, "Fuck that! Halloween kicks ass." Like I'm dressing up every year. Like Halloween's the shit.
Yeah.
I think Halloween. I'm biased because Halloween's my favorite birthday, but my favorite holiday. But that's just because my birthday's so close to it, probably. Oh, that's good. What is this? Oh, that's like it's like a human. Oh, it's like Jigsaw meets Jason. That's creepy for sure. That's like Jason meets Jigsaw
meets Jigsaw
meets Freddy Krueger. That's all over the place. Yeah.
I saw this movie last night. It's called Sinister. You guys seen that one with that clown?
Yeah. Sinister was the one with Let's see. I get them all confused because there's Sinister, Insidious. Sinister was the one with like the Darth Maul looking guy, right? No.
He's got a what is it? Black and white mask. Or like a clown. He's a clown with a little black hat.
Oh no! I haven't seen this. Let me pull this up. Let me see.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Well, they are, I think. Yeah, it's all right.
Oh, Sinister, was that the one where like it's like the movie? It's like the guy is like trapped in the tapes or whatever. You see him is like Ethan Hawke or whatever. Yeah, that one was pretty. It was like his name's the Bagul or whatever, right?
Sinister. But there's another one, I think, or maybe I'm wrong.
There's a whole. No, you know which one was really good? Are you thinking about Terrifier? Terrifier was the one that fucking scared the hell. It was actually pretty badass. I mean, it wasn't really scary, but it was disgustingly violent.
There you go. That one.
Terrifier. Hell yeah, dude.
That one. Yeah, that
I would love a sequel for Terrifier.
There you go. That one.
Terrifier was great. Did you ever see that one, Donovan?
Not yet. I've seen it on Netflix.
It's actually good. It's great. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, there's some pretty good death scenes in that one.
Bloody.
They kind of went crazy on clowns the past couple years.
Yeah, I don't think Terrifier is different, but yeah, I was joking about it on one of these other streams about how like I feel sorry for people who are afraid of clowns. It's like, come on, dude. There's way scarier shit out there than clowns. You know?
Clowns horrify people though.
Yeah, and I'm not even talking about like an evil clown. I'm talking about just regular clowns. Like just calm down. It's like it's
You
like
know
a
what
guy-
else scares the shit out of people? I mean, I'm not too bothered by them as cockroaches.
Yeah, cockroaches and spiders and snakes and bugs. I mean, cockroaches are gross and freaky, but it's like I've joked about it before. I'm like, look, cockroaches are not gross. It's people who have cockroaches in their house. Those people are gross.
Yeah.
You're the gross one.
Yeah.
Cockroach is just doing his thing, just eating
Here's
food. And...
How's this for a flashback? Joe's apartment.
Oh yeah, I love that one. My favorite part is when he meets that guy like laying dead on the road. He's like he's on the sidewalk with blood everywhere, and he's like, "Oh my God, are you okay?" And he sits up. He's like, "I've been here for 3 days waiting for someone to say something, and you're the first person to like acknowledge me laying there. I'm doing like performance art, basically." Trying to demonstrate how awful the city is.
My favorite is how they had the kid from Stand By Me.
Oh yeah, the little fat kid. He ended up looking great. What's his name? he was in Sliders and a few other things. He was great. He ended up losing a bunch of weight and getting all like looking all sexy and banging a bunch of models. Good for him.
Yeah, he had it together the most out of the four of them.
You guys like The Hills Have Eyes?
Oh yeah.
The director's cut of that one. That was one of the few ones where I was like, no, you have to watch the unrated version versus the regular one because it's so much more intense.
The remake was good.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. The remake.
Okay.
The original one's good too, but the remake's so bloody. Like especially like
and that rape scene was downright disturbing.
They're all horrifying.
Oh yeah, right.
I was saying the worst is when they shoot that fucking Prego girl like right in the face. I was saying in the unrated version they just show it full blown, like they show her brains fly out of her head and shit, and in the rated R version they cut away tastefully. I was saying when they burn the father alive, like they're like, what's happening? The cars are all not working and everything. There's like a huge fire and you realize like the father's like strapped to like a cross, like burning alive.
Did anyone
like in the unrated scene? The unrated version, you see like his like face like melting off and stuff. It's gross.
Did anyone see the second part?
Yeah, with the military people, it wasn't as good, but I enjoyed it for sure.
I'm gonna say the reason it wasn't as good is because it's not as horrifying to watch like a military group of people who were ready for war go down as it is this innocent family who was just on a trip.
Right, because it's like the idea that you have to pull yourself together and go through this horrible shit and defend yourself versus like, oh, we're here to like kick people's asses and then they get their ass kicked. I mean, Predator is a good example. What up? Jaime's back. Yeah, I was saying we're talking about it's just like it's like you said, like with like Predator, like they're kind of asking for it. They're showing up in the jungle, they all got guns, and then like
got time to bleed.
Yeah. Well, you got time to duck. Predator's also like From Dusk Till Dawn and also The Descent, where like the first half of the movie is like it's a war movie. The second half of the movie is like alien monsters. The Descent is another good one where it's like a bunch of hot chicks. Like that's like unlike From Dusk Till Dawn. Like in From Dusk Till Dawn, you have to tell people it's a vampire movie, so that way they expect it, and that way they get like they anticipate it, and they're wondering where the vampires are, and when they finally show up, it's great. But with The Descent, I think you could probably not tell them there's like evil like mole people living in the cave. But the idea is you could just tell someone it's about a bunch of hot chicks that get trapped in a cave, and it's terrifying. That's all you have to tell someone, and it is creepy. But
how about those Rob Zombie movies? You guys like those?
Yeah, we were talking about how I was hoping that he would, because I heard years ago that he was going to remake The Blob, and he never did. But dude, the Blob remake of the '80s one, that one's fucking gross. But yeah,
I haven't seen that one.
That's a good one. Frank Darabont did that one. He's the guy who did Shawshank Redemption and the first season of The Walking Dead and Green Mile, but the Blob 80s remake is so gross. Like that. Yeah. And also the fact that the Blob like eats children and women and it doesn't care. Like the Blob gets everybody and it's like their fucking limbs all melt off and shit. It's horrifying. Very good makeup effects in that one.
And you remember the story on Creep Show where that little
raft.
That asteroid hits and then Stephen King touches it and that green shit starts growing all over.
That's the first. Yeah, that's in the first Creep Show. Yeah, I love that one. And he ends up just blowing his brains out. And it's so fucking sad. You're like shit, but it's so funny because like he imagines like I'm gonna take this meteor to the science guy, and he's going to give me a bunch of money. And then the meteor cracks in half because he pours like water on it. He touches it and burns his finger. He gets blisters immediately. And he pours water on it, and it cracks in half. And he's like, "Oh, you dummy! They aren't going to pay for a cracked meteor."
That does remind me of Joe Dirt, where he thought that was a meteor on Joe Dirt, and they tell him, "This is just a big block of shit."
No, but yeah, he gets those burns on his finger, and then like the little plants start growing out of his fingertip, and then it's like a moss, and then it just like starts taking over everything. Yeah, that was a great one. I love Creepshow Part 2. That one actually is one of those sequels that I do like more than the original. With the what up, Jaime? You all right?
Yeah, I'll catch you guys later because this thing's fucking up.
No, don't worry, man. Yeah, no problem, dude. Come back in if you want to, man. We'll be doing this for a little while. But it's good talking to you, man.
Yeah, same thing.
All right, buddy.
Hey, Donovan, nice meeting you, brother.
Have a good one.
All right, later.
All right, y'all take care.
All right, man. Yeah, I was saying with Creepshow 2, I loved The Raft. That one's probably my favorite one with that. Those little teenagers, those 4 teenagers. It's like a couple and then like a potential couple going out to go swim in the lake, and they go swim out to some raft out in the middle of the lake, and there's like this big like oil slick that's like following them, and it ends up being like some kind of like living creature, kind of like the Blob, and it like grabs you and pulls you in, and then like they eventually, like, spoiler alert, they all die. They all get eaten by the fucking blob thing, and then at the end, when the last guy gets eaten, the camera pans out to the back of the lake, and you see like right on the shore in the trees, there's a big sign that says "No swimming." And it's just like, hell yeah, dude, that's great.
If only.
Yeah. And then the Creepshow had some great ones too. It was like the in the first one, the crate. There's like that evil baboon creature living in that box. And it eats everybody. And the guy, he's like works at the museum, and he gets this. He hates his wife. So as soon as he finds out this baboon creature, this demon creature is living in this crate, he's like, "Oh, I know what to do," because it eats like some janitor right in front of him, and it's horrifying. It like rips his face open and bites his neck and pulls him into the crate and kills him. And his first thought is like, "I should bring my wife here and have her look in that box because I get her killed that way." It's like, that's why I liked Tales from the Crypt so much, because first of all, the show's fantastic. Each episode is a different plot, a different crew, famous celebrity.
Keeper was a good host as well.
Oh, awesome host. The Crypt Keeper is so great. And then you got like celebrity directors and celebrity actors. But one of the things that I loved about all the Tales from the Crypt episodes is they were all terrible things happening to terrible people.
Oh, yeah.
They were all awful people.
The one that had Tim Curry playing like every member of a hillbilly family.
Yes. And wasn't it, it was Ed Beagley was like the salesman, the death of some salesman. The Death of Some Salesman is the name of that episode. And he is saying they try to like marry him off to like one of the daughter or something, right?
And I think one of the interesting morals of that is, you know, he made a plan with the daughter is to kill the parents, take the family fortune, which was buried, and then run off together. Well, this guy, not wanting anything to do with the daughter either, kills the daughter and the parents.
Yeah.
He has the opportunity just to get the fuck out of there. He has that chance, but he had to be greedy and stay to dig to find the fortune. Yeah. And instead of money or gold, he finds like a scroll with a little passage about how people pay for their greed. And then when he looks up, all the members of the family are not dead, and then they kill him.
Right. There was also the other one, like, well, I mean, even Demon Knight, the movie, which is so good. I love that. It's just like a perfect, that's a great example of like, take your show and turn it into a movie. And it's just like a long episode. And even the Crypt Keeper, like, he's like, "We're going to Hollywood," like the intro. And it's like smash cut. Like, they don't really spend too much time.
They don't even acknowledge he's a zombie.
Yeah.
He's interacting with humans.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. He's like at the red carpet and stuff, and he's got like 2 hot models with him and stuff. Like, it's great. But then, like, at the beginning, when he's filming the story, that's the thing, is like they have a little intro where it's like this naked woman in the bathtub, and she's like soaping up her titties and stuff, and she's like on the phone. She's like, "I did it, Earl. I killed him. I killed my husband with an axe, and now we're gonna spend all of his money." And it's just like, God. So then when the guy comes back from the dead and he kills her, it's like, yeah, she deserved it. And same thing with the Santa Claus episode. The episode starts with like the woman kills her husband. And then on top of that, there's like a murdering psychopath after her, but it's like she's an evil bitch. So you don't really feel bad for her when she gets killed at the end.
Do you remember the second movie they made, Bordello of
Bordello of Blood? It was good, but it wasn't nearly as good.
Corey Feldman was a vampire in it, which was very ironic.
Yeah. And Dennis
Miller.
Oh yeah, Dennis Miller cracking all his jokes and stuff. That's the thing, is like, I feel like the comedy felt a little more forced in Bordello, whereas Demon Knight, a lot of the comedy was just very natural and very funny. Like when the cops like kick in that door and like they're like the lady's got like the nipple clamps on the dude, and they're just like electrocuting his nipples and shit, to a car battery, and they're like, "What the hell?" That's just funny.
Something they didn't do very well, was Freddy's Nightmares, which every episode was supposed to be a different story.
Yeah.
With Freddy Krueger kind of taking the role as the Crypt Keeper. Like, does that make sense?
Yeah.
It'd be its own tale with Freddy just kind of popping in and out to like egg the story on.
Right. I remember that. I didn't really watch. I remember the Friday the 13th series too, which was
had no
good.
relation to the movie, but it was made by the same people.
Yeah. Holy shit, this is me. This is like look at me sitting in front of a field of flowers or some shit, wearing little. I look like a Chucky doll.
You do.
I literally look like Chucky.
Turn your hair red and you're Chucky.
Let's see this shit. Hang on, look at this. Like oh my God, I literally look like a good guy doll.
Yeah, you do. Did you know Good Guy was based on My Buddy?
I believe it for sure.
Remember the My Buddy dolls?
Yeah. Let's look those up real quick. Let's see here. My Buddy dolls. Let's see here. I'm gonna go over here. Oh, look. I'm gonna share screen, share audio over here. We'll go. Let's see here.
The old commercials for him.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's so scary, is the idea that you'd get your kid one of these and he's possessed by a goddamn serial killer.
Yeah, right.
But one of the things about Child's Play that's so good is like the first half of the movie, or I'd say maybe the first third of the movie, you think that it might actually be the kid. The kid's doing all the terrible shit, and he's just blaming it on the doll. You don't really know for a fact that the doll is possessed. Like, you suspect it for sure, and it's heavily hinted. But there still could have been like this big twist at the end that it was the kid all the time. But
and then you see at the towards the end where the batteries fall out.
That's the best part ever. It's so fucking scary because like she's just like the kid's already been taken away because of all the shit that's happened. Like her best friend died, the kid ran away, and like some house blew up.
And the kid kept saying it's Chucky. Chucky says this.
And she's stuck with the Chucky doll, and then she's like, telling the doll, like, you can talk, right? If you could talk, you'd tell me, huh? And he doesn't say anything. And she's like, oh, this is so silly. I'm over this. I'm just, depressed. And then she goes and finds those batteries in the pack. It says batteries are included. And the part where she like slowly grabs the doll and opens the back. And when she opens the back, and there's no batteries in it. And then the head spins around. And it's like, hey, I'm Chucky. Wanna play? It's just like, ah! So good. It's so good. And then that's when that's when the shit kicks into high gear. That's such a good movie. Damn.
It was. And I think the slapstick and the puns kind of overshadow it at times.
Yeah, especially with the sequels. Yeah, because that's the thing, is that the first one, it's like Jurassic Park. Like the first one, it's the whole, in Jurassic Park, like the whole experience of seeing big dinosaurs like look so real for the first time, there's like this awe about it, and that's not in any of the sequels, because you're like, bring on the dinosaurs, we're ready for more dinosaurs.
I would like to see a cut of Jurassic Park without the famous musical score, and to see if it's as exciting.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing about Steven Spielberg, is he is a horror director. He knows how to make horror movies, and the thing is, he puts great like horror elements in his non-horror movies, like Jurassic Park and Jaws. That's the one thing he loves. Is if you ever see any kids in a Steven Spielberg movie, you know that kid is going to be in serious danger in no time. That kid's going to be almost, on the verge of dying. Like very.
I
soon.
remember hearing. I mean, I don't know what year Jaws came out, but I remember hearing people were
75.
Oh yeah, I wasn't alive. People were terrified to go into the water.
Yeah, well, that's the joke in Contagion. Now, but talking about earlier with Jaime with 12 not 12 month Outbreak. Contagion is way more creepy based on the coronavirus thing because like it starts out in China. It's like some kind of flu. It's very contagious. But like one of the things that they mentioned is like when Kate Winslet's character, who works for the CDC, she's like at the town in I think Minneapolis or somewhere, wherever Matt Damon's from. She's talking about how we need to get people aware of like how bad this virus is and fomites and social distancing. That was like all these phrases that are so common. They were all first coined in that Contagion movie, or at least first made mainstream. But there's the part where she's like, she says something. They say like, how do we get people to, take this seriously? And he's like, well, it's funny because like she says like a line, something similar like, she's like, well, you could put like all these warnings on cigarette packs and nobody gives a shit. But if you put a little plastic shark in a movie, everyone's afraid to go in the water.
Yeah,
so
right.
It's like people, we don't know, like, how do you get this to work? Holy shit, dude! Look at this, dude. It's your sister.
Oh shit!
It's your sister in my backyard.
Yeah.
Who's this other girl?
I have no idea. That was probably one of Aldo's parties.
Yeah. Aldo had lame parties. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Aldo's birthday is in September, He's,
I remember his birthday was always like as around the time you'd find Halloween stuff for sale in the store, but
right.
Yours was like at the dead heart of like right before Halloween. Yeah,
dog. Mine's 6 days before Halloween, so it's like it's on. Hell yeah! This is definitely my birthday card right here.
Let's see
I'm
it.
all about Godzilla.
Oh yeah.
What does it say in here? Oh, it's from my Aunt Darla. My Aunt Darla actually gave me some really good boudin yesterday. I saw her yesterday, and she gave us some boudin. It's this Cajun like rice pork sausage thing that you get.
Okay. Yeah, that's right.
I always get it because that stuff reminds me of I was telling my mom this. There's stuff that boudin and eggs reminds me of Christmas because the first time I had it, I was like 7 or 8 years old at my dad's place, my grandpa's place in Beaumont, and I remember seeing them make boudin. My mom made boudin and eggs for my dad, and I was just thinking, this looks so gross. I don't want it. And then I tried it, and me and my brother ate it every day for like a year. Like we were addicted to it. My mom was saying we were eating like 14 eggs a week.
I remember a memory I have of your dad is his garage was like just a typical American's garage.
Yeah, for sure.
A big gun rack. And
gun safe.
Calendar girls.
Yeah. And he just had this like work desk, and then he had a workbench and a bunch of like stuff all over the place, like coffee tins full of screws.
Yeah.
And he would just like sit with his garage door wide open, and he'd have no shirt on and just like gym shorts, and he'd just be sitting on his desk. So the whole neighborhood could just see him like cleaning all of his guns while he listened to like Rush Limbaugh. So like nobody would ever fuck with our house. Like, you know what I mean? Like he's just like
he was sending out a message there.
He was telegraphing. He's telegraphing like, hey, fucking come over here. I dare you. That was that line in that Weird Al song, Trigger Happy. I love that. My dad loved that song too. It was funny.
Yeah.
What was the Weird Al? He says like, he's like, I got a brand new semi-automatic. It's like, I got a brand new semi-automatic rifle with the laser sight. Oh, I'm praying somebody gets to break in here tonight. Like,
yeah, I remember one day you and I are playing with cap guns, and he just opened his like gun safe and says, "Hey, take a look at these. You think that's cool?"
yeah, for sure. I mean, my dad was all about like get them young, dude, to learn get them to learn how to fucking walk a firearm when they're young.
What's fascinating is the time I spent in England. Everybody wants to have the gun conversation with an American.
Yeah.
And I never deviated from many of my original views. It's someone's coming in your house, forcing their way in. They have malicious intent. You do what you need to do to protect yourself.
Yeah. I mean, having a gun, I mean, that's the thing that's great about this whole COVID quarantine and the protests all this year is like there's certain things that we're all starting to like agree on. Like there were things that used to be divisive, but like owning a gun, I feel like more people are coming around. It's like, no, I think we all should have guns. I think that's actually a good idea. Same thing with like the idea that opening the borders, like wide open borders, that's actually not a good idea. I think we're starting to realize, like, I think people are realizing, you know, maybe this is something we can all kind of agree on now. Like there's some things that are getting settled. But yeah, universal healthcare, that sounds cool too. Like we're all
earlier this year, someone I know, she is one of the most liberal people I know. And it took me as surprise. This was even before the COVID situation took off. It took me by surprise to see her just come out and say, no, we cannot just have open borders.
Yeah. I mean, that's nuts. It's insane. Like, I mean, obviously it's like, sure, you don't want to like wall off your country to other people. You don't want to be like, you know, Korea or whatever. But yeah, what's up, Max? How you doing, man?
I got poison ivy.
Where?
On my dick.
Are you joking?
No.
Did you touch something and then touch your dick?
I went camping this weekend.
Did you rub your dick on poison ivy?
No, but I definitely have it there somehow.
Ugh.
Is it literally on your dick or just like your pelvic region?
It's on my dick.
That's horrible. That's horrible. Like the head or just the...
Yeah, explain your dick.
Well, it's pretty pervasive.
Man, I'm sorry to hear, dude. I hope your genitals get better immediately. I wish that your penis gets better with poison ivy. Here.
What horror movies are y'all talking about right now?
We've been talking about a whole bunch. We were just talking about just guns in general right now. We're talking about my dad and his like big gun addiction. You have a gun, right, Max? Everyone's got guns now. It's great. You just got yours ready to go.
Yeah, always in arm's reach.
That's what I said the other day. Someone was they were trying to like, they were sharing that dude who like turned right on 8th Street and like all the protesters like swarmed his car and he pulled his gun out and then drove through the crowd and then like pulled over and like started talking to police. Immediately he was detained and everyone's like trying to like dox him and get him fired and have him like give him death threats and shit. But they were saying like the fact that he pulled his gun out so quickly just shows that he was asking for it. It's like, no, you should have, if your gun's in your car, the point of it is like it should be you should be able to grab your gun at any moment's notice. Otherwise, there's no point in having it. Like
exactly.
It makes it.
But Max, that was like so perfect. It's like, yeah, you got a gun. It's like right here. It's like
gun talk makes me think of Wayne's World. Whenever his ex-girlfriend is like, "I got you a gift. It's a gun rack. It's a gun rack." He's like,
"I don't even own a gun, let alone enough guns to necessitate an entire rack." I love Al Bundy in that movie where he's, I think it's part 1 or part 2. I think it might be part 2 where he's like, you know, the Native Americans, when they'd stab someone in the dead of winter, steam would come out of their wounds. And the Native Americans thought that this was their soul escaping their body. And he's just like owns a donut shop. He's just like selling donuts. He's like,
you know what I'd like to do to him? I know what you'd like to do to him. You'd like to reach into his chest and rip out a still beating heart, show it to him so we can see how black it is before he dies.
Yeah. Why do they come to me? Why do the voices come to me to die? Why do they come to me to die? And they're just like, okay.
You know, why is it that if you murder someone, you kill someone in war, you're a hero, but if you do it out of the heat of passion, you're a murderer?
God damn, dude. I love that guy. What's his name?
Ed O'Neill.
Ed O'Neill, dude. Dutch. That's not a horror movie, but the movie Dutch, where it's like a good Thanksgiving movie, planes, trains, and automobile style, where he is dating this woman who is a previous marriage, was married to some very rich man, played by Christopher McDonald, and they have a son together who's in a private school, and Ed O'Neill volunteers to go pick up the son from this private school and road trip him back to visit mom for the holidays, and it's like this road trip bonding story, but like they hate each other, and it's just, oh god, it's so funny, dude. Couldn't recommend that enough. Dutch around Thanksgiving.
I always joke that Ed O'Neill should play Buck Strickland in a live action King of the Hill.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
That'd be good.
There you go. Ever since I was a little kid, Soups has been my guy.
Oh, I got one for you for doing Superman pajamas.
Yeah. Oh, Poo Pants Fighter. What up, Poo Pants?
Yo, Poo Pants in the house.
Yo. How's it going?
I just got off of a 2.5 What? Is that you?
Yeah, I'm just showing off my baby pictures while we talk about horror movies and shit.
Fucking dope. I just got out of a 2-hour-long Zoom meeting about issue 1 of a comic book, so I'm just nerding tonight.
Yeah, we're talking about horror movies. I don't remember. Oh, yeah, it was like Jamie. I need to hit up Jamie. Jamie was the one who wanted to. She was asking me about doing a horror stream. Let me message her. You coming? Shit, question mark. Anyway, yeah, what comic book were you guys talking about?
They have at Hops and Heroes is my comic shop. They have a $1 book club. You know how they release the first issue for $1 of comics?
Yeah.
And so we did Rat Queens, which I had never heard of. But as a D&D player, I gotta say that was I'm gonna read it.
Cool. I'll check it out.
Speaking of horror movies, though, and what I brought up to them is the comic book Die, which is also D&D based.
The Simpsons? Oh no, the Die.
Die, Die, like as in dice, is this other horror. It's like a horror D&D comic that's really good.
I dig it. I dig horror, man. Here's speaking of horror. Here's my little brother. Here's Aldo. Aldo, if you're watching, look at you. Look at his little military beret. What does his shirt say? Survival?
Oh damn.
He's wearing camo pants?
No, he's put some pants on, bro.
What the hell, Aldo? It's problematic, man. You look like you're in a little. Here's Aldo again. Look at him. Look at Aldo. Oh.
I don't think I even own a single baby picture of me.
No, I'm over here at my mom's house. I'm over here visiting my mom for the past week or two, and I found this big box of like kids photos. Last week I was going through all these shitty books I found. This was actually one of them. I was thinking maybe I might later, if when this chat dies down, I'll read one of these stories. But it's like this horrible. It's called Bites, and it's little short stories about vampires. But like, look at this cover art. It's so bad. I love it.
That's great. Have you read The Ice Cream Man at all?
No, but I remember seeing the Ice Cream Man movie with Clint Howard. Do you ever see that one?
No, is it based off of the comic book?
I doubt it. It's terrible, but maybe. I don't know.
I think Clint Howard was in the recent Rob Zombie movie 3 from Hell.
Clint Howard should be in every movie, I think. I think she should just have like at least one little 5-second role in every movie. I love Clint Howard. But what's the Ice Cream Man comic about?
Well, I only had issue 1. It was an old dollar comic. I said, yeah, throw it on there. Apparently, every issue is completely different. So there's no overarching story whatsoever, and they're all horror stories.
I love that. I love anthologies. We were just talking about the Creepshow movies earlier and Tales from the Crypt. They were talking about how like M. Night Shyamalan wanted to bring back Tales from the Crypt and make it like a season-long arc, like American Horror Story. I was like, please don't do that. Like, because that's the thing is like it's easier to write a big 10-hour-long script than to write a nice like 30-minute concise like story. And that's the thing is like most of the Tales from the Crypt comics or show episodes were based off the comics. You know, Vault of Horror and Tales from the Crypt and Tales from Horror. All those other books, those are good.
Here's trivia: did you know the eyes in the Crypt Keeper were the eyes of the Chucky doll in the first movie?
I believe it. It looks good.
They were recycled Chucky's eyes.
I had never seen any of the Chucky movies, and then about 3 years ago, just binge watched all of them. In one day, while I was getting a tattoo in my living room, and it was great. I gotta say, I actually thoroughly enjoyed that series, and it's horror, but it's also super goofy.
The first one is actually very scary, but yeah, we were talking about how the sequels started getting really goofy and fun. But yeah, the first one is terrifying. It is so good.
It is creepy,
and it holds up too. I recommend that one all the time to people asking for because that's the thing is people usually ask for, hey, you got any good horror movies you've seen? And I usually first thing I do is ask, have you seen any of these classics? Like, have you seen An American Werewolf in London? Have you seen Child's Play? When was the last time you saw it? Like, check that shit out again. It'll blow your mind, especially like, oh, I haven't seen Child's Play since I was a little kid. It's like, rewatch it as an adult. It's way better. It's so good.
Have you seen that movie? It's from Spain. I think it's still on Netflix, but about the thing that's descending through all the levels.
Oh yeah, no, I didn't watch that one, but I heard it was okay.
And it's like a commentary on capitalism.
Yeah.
Oh, it's fantastic! It is absolutely fucking outstanding. Like, go watch that. So good. Highly suggested. I think.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'll probably check it out because it's a movie. I hate the shit where it's like, oh yeah, you should check it out. It's like a fucking 18-hour long show. It's like, I don't want to get involved in something like that.
I tried to get into Dark. My brother watched all of the first 2 seasons. I watched half of the first season in one night, and then I was like, oh, it seems like too much work to watch any more of this.
Yeah, I feel the same way. It's like, I'm not going to wait. I'm going to wait until the show's all over, and you recommend it then. Like, I don't want to get involved in like a Lost situation where people think it's pretty good and then it ends on a shitty note.
You know what I did with Lost? I watched the entire first season, and then I watched like the last 3 episodes of the final season. I was like, that's good.
Yeah.
Didn't need anything in between. Nice. Good.
Yeah. I remember I had this, I made this, I drew this, and then I printed it on a shirt, and I lost that shirt, and I fucking hate it. I really wish I still had that shirt. I'm going to have to reprint it. But yeah, I love the Crypt Keeper. He's just such a weird looking freak,
With Chucky's eyes.
Yeah, dude. Chucky. I love Chucky because he cursed and he was like, especially in like the sequels, he's like, shut the fuck up, bro. I'll kick your fucking teeth in. He's like, damn, Chucky, like, calm down.
Someone had a script idea for a Chucky and Freddy Krueger crossover.
Yeah. Well, because you were talking about like, what else would you do besides Freddy versus Jason? And yeah, there's Chucky, there's Leatherface, there's Pinhead. I think Pinhead would probably be the most formidable.
Did you know one of the original ending ideas for Freddy versus Jason was they're both in hell? And then Pinhead comes out and says, I've had about enough of you two.
Nice.
And then it's over.
That'd be great. I would have loved that. Hell yeah. Bring that shit on, dude.
You cannot keep such a surprise ending like that a secret in today's world.
Yeah, but I guess now, Jigsaw would be one of the more recent ones. And then, like I was saying, that stupid Insidious guy who looks like Darth Maul.
Oh, yeah.
Hate him.
Which guy? Hold on, who?
I think it's Insidious, those horror movies, but it's like the demon that looks just like Darth Maul.
Don't even know what you're talking about.
Let's see here. Let's pull it up. Insidious.
Freddy Krueger versus Wolverine would be an interesting one.
Wolverine versus anyone. Yeah,
what was the guy from Cyberforce by Image Comics that was basically Freddy Krueger and Wolverine put together?
Oh, I have no idea. But yeah, Dream, the idea that you can't fall asleep. Fuck that shit. I love sleeping. What I mean? Like,
oh, I actually listened to a podcast radio play very recently that was like a horror thing where you can't go to sleep or you'll die, and most of the world had already died. It was an interesting podcast, not very well executed, but it could have. It was interesting.
That was also Attack of the Invasion of the Body Snatchers. The idea was they get you once you fall asleep. That's when you become one of them. So the idea is you have to stay awake, and that shit's creepy, man. It's scary.
What's funny is a lot of the old horror movie tropes are like, if you smoke pot or do any of that stuff, you're gonna die. But in a Freddy Krueger movie, if you smoke pot, recent studies have shown that pot keeps you from dreaming.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I guess that works.
So if you're stoned, Freddy can't get you.
Nice. Hell yeah. Yeah, Freddy, that's the thing is like, but that was like the cool thing about why I think the Dream Warriors Part 3 is so popular, because the idea is like, wait, I'm dreaming. I can fight Freddy in my dream. You know how fucking powerful I could be in my dreams if I knew I was dreaming? So like Freddy Krueger could probably have like some disadvantages if you realized you were dreaming, Like I'll fight. That was like in the. I love that Simpsons Treehouse of Horror episode where Groundskeeper Willie But that was the idea. It's like they're trying to stay awake, and they realize like this is pointless. And Bart's like, "You're right. I got to just fall asleep and face him off in a final showdown." And it's like, yeah, that's what you would have to do to fight Freddy.
Did anybody remember the Dream Warriors song by Dokken for the movie?
Let's fucking look it up, dude.
But I just, right before everything hit the fan, I worked a gig with Dokken in fucking Allen, Texas.
Nice.
Oh my god. Yeah, it was Dokken and Glitch Mob. No.
Lynch Mob.
Lynch Mob. That's who it was.
Yeah.
Dokken and Lynch Mob. Yeah.
You trying to pull that song up, Enzo?
Oh,
Yeah,
dude. 80s metal, dude.
Let's see here. Dokken. We got, it's called Dream Warriors.
Even
oh my god! The first few songs while they were playing, I was like, "All right, this is cool." And then
is
after
that
like,
little, is that Rachel Arquette?
Like, all right, so it's all
Patricia Arquette.
Arquette, yeah.
You
Hell
don't
yeah.
know she was in Dream
I
Warriors.
forgot she was in part 3. So, we'll watch a little bit of. I might have to pause it every once in a while so that way my stream doesn't get struck. It's happened only a couple times, but so you'd be surprised what stuff is copyrighted. But I'm pretty sure this will be fine. Oh hell yeah, dude!
Oh shit!
What? There's like rock music coming from my bedroom, dude. Oh.
Damn.
There was a time where dudes like this were cool.
Let's be real. No, there wasn't.
Oh my god! I worked a gig with Yngwie Malmsteen, and that was one of the funniest motherfuckers, dude.
Oh yeah.
Who?
Like he is so stuck in the '80s, it's ridiculous.
We're right on.
Yeah, I mean, it's their glory days, dude. It's the
Well,
glory
actually,
days.
whenever I worked a gig with him, it was his drummer's first gig with him because his drummer that's been with him for like the last like 10 or 20 years, something like that, had just cut off 2 of his fingers on one of his hands.
on accident or on purpose?
On accident. And so it was this 18-year-old kid who was their merch guy for the last 2 years, was also a drummer. And he was like, well, I know all the parts. Like, he cut his fingers off. You need a drummer. I could do it. And so that was his first actual show with them. And he killed it. I mean, 18 years old, and he had zits all over his face. Used to be the merch guy, and he fucking killed it, dude. Like, he fucking really killed it. I was very surprised.
Man, I gotta say, that's got to be a blow to the drummer because it's like you'd think he'd do a Def Leppard. That guy lost his whole arm, and they kept him. You know,
Right.
it's like this guy. I mean, I understand your fingers are important playing drums. Did he lose his thumb? Because it's like I think I could probably play drums. I mean, even if I lost, it's honestly these
It was
fingers right
index
here.
and middle finger on his right hand.
Oh.
It was which fingers?
Index and middle.
I was gonna say, yeah, I don't know. I feel like I could probably play drums pretty well if I had 2 fingers missing, but these.
Well, it also happened like 3 or 4 weeks before that show,
Oh,
so
right.
that
Yeah,
his shit was still healing.
He's the drummer. He's back to being the regular drummer with his fingers, hopefully.
I have no idea.
Hopefully
I
they
don't know.
didn't,
I worked
like,
that gig with him, and I was like,
permanently
"Hey, I remember Yngwie from whenever I was like 13. Cool." And I worked a gig with him, and it's like, all right, back out of my mind.
Well, I remember when I broke my wrist, I was still able to play drums pretty well with the cast on my hand. But when I broke my ankle, it's like, fuck that. You can't play the drums. You can't play the pedal. It doesn't work, you know?
Dude, I headlined a fucking festival in the woods with a broken clavicle. I had to have somebody like help put the guitar over my shoulder, and I had to like sit down so it wouldn't put on any weight on me. And it still rocked out.
Good. Let's see here. Let's go back to Dokken. She's like, this is not gay at all. It's very Lost Boys, very Lost Boysy.
Did you know a
Just
Nightmare on
because I'm
Elm
touching myself doesn't mean it's gay.
Did you know a Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2 was labeled like one of the gayest horror movies?
Part 2?
Yeah.
Yeah, wasn't that like a part of the plot? Right? Was like
It
one of
was.
the characters was like closeted or something. I remember.
It was.
Yeah.
Do you know that Top Gun makes like 180 something gay references throughout the movie?
Oh, I knew that.
Really?
Yeah. Like it's literally it's like 181 or 183. I forget. It's one of those two. Because my stepdad was a fighter pilot in the Air Force, and he was like, "Oh yeah, no, they're so fucking gay in that movie."
Well, the just the volleyball scene alone is so like homoerotic, you know, because that's the thing is like he's got his female love interest, but it's all about like Val Kilmer and Tom Cruise. Like it's all about them.
Well, what's funny is that it seems like the more homophobic a lot of these macho men get, the closer they get to homoeroticism.
Yeah,
very much so.
But Top Gun is still a good movie, and so is I love Cocktail. That's one of my favorite guilty pleasure like Tom Cruise movies, man.
I've actually never seen Cocktail.
So Cocktail is like Tom Cruise it's one of his earlier movies. He's like a young
it's one of his earliest movies, isn't it?
Yeah, I think Legend is probably like him at his youngest. Besides I think the Warriors or whatever that one that was he was in, not Warriors.
No way was he. Yeah, he wasn't in the Warriors.
He was the other one with Matt Dillon.
I don't know.
Anyway, it doesn't matter. They're in Cocktail. He's like he moves to New York to become a stockbroker or whatever, and he doesn't have any experience. Nobody would hire him, so he gets a job as a bartender in like a Fridays bar while he tries to like go to night school and stuff. And he ends up just being like a protege of this like Australian bartender. And the whole movie is just them like having sex with each other's girlfriends and remaining friends.
Okay.
It's a weird one. It's good.
80s and cocaine, you know?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, most of these 80s action movies. Yeah. Let's see. Here's another picture of your sister, Donovan, and it was my brother's birthday party. Let's see here. If I go, let me click this. Let's see here. Like, this is proof that it was my brother's birthday.
Oh,
Look at him celebrating with his friends, Miguel and Carlos and your sister. Yeah, it's my little brother Aldo. Was that Max?
Is he throwing up a shocker?
Is he throwing up a shocker?
Kind of looks like it. You can see
No, it's close though.
It looks like he's like ready to fight and some Mortal Kombat shit.
Throwing up a fist.
Yeah.
Okay, wait, let's go back to Dawkins. Oh wait, no. We want this one right here. Here we go. I'm like picking all these. Oh, look at Freddy. Oh no. Patricia Arquette, dude, she's such a babe.
Oh yeah, Lost Highway.
Oh my God, Lost. That is a freaky ass good horror movie. It's not even really horror as much as it is just like twisted, but that's probably my favorite David Lynch movie.
Did you
Lost
know
Highway.
the studio got so much crap for how phallic this scene was? Well, when it was the worm.
What was that?
In the Nightmare on Elm Street 3, whenever the Freddy Krueger worm comes out.
Yeah, and eats that girl. Or no, that was part 5. Part 5. Part 5 was. I'm thinking of part 5 when that fridge monster eats that girl like a boa constrictor.
That was 5.
That's what I was thinking of. Holy shit, that was great. That's what I was saying. Like, even though, oh my God, Freddy killed the guy from Dawkins. Holy shit. Freddy killed the guitar player. Let's go back here. Like, I love how they're like splicing the actual movie into this video. Like, the dude just bursts out of a wall. Okay, let's go back here. This is actually pretty great. The dude bursts out of the wall and then starts like shredding his guitar. Yeah, yo, what up, dude? Hey, I'm here to fucking rock. Could you imagine if like you were being stalked by a serial killer and he burst into your house and just started playing guitar?
No.
This is the face you'd make. You'd be like this girl right here. You'd be like, what the hell? Like, you'd be so confused. And then, you're just like...
the look on her face was literally perfect.
Who are you? And what are you... Oh, okay, you're cool. I get it.
I dig it.
Wait, look out. Oh, no. It's like this guy's not even concerned that his guitar player was just murdered. This guy, I thought Dawkins...
Sorry, I'm back to comic books. Have you heard of Murder Falcon?
Whoa. No, I haven't. That sounds familiar, though.
It's fucking amazing. It's about like this rock band and their guitarist. Like, there's creatures from another dimension coming in, causing havoc and shit. And to fight them, these other guys from this other dimension come in to fight, but they're powered by rock and the metal. And so, like, if this guitarist is playing a sick solo, he's got like way cooler powers and like shoots missiles and shit because he's Murder Falcon. And like the drummer has like this flying fucking like, it's badass. It's a fucking stupid comic book series, and
Black make it
entertaining, so entertaining.
Let's see, my friend is asking about this. Yeah, that sounds great. That reminds me of that horror movie, Rock and Roll Nightmare, starring Thor Johnson or whatever his name is. You know what I'm talking about, Donovan?
Vaguely.
It's terrible. Let's see here. Let's keep playing this. What are we looking at? This looks like a torn up butthole. Let's see here.
With a drum set in it.
This is playing the drums and playing the sphincter all at the same time.
What's going on here is what my junk feels like right now, by the way.
They're very dedicated to performing the song.
We are victorious! Let's see here. Yeah, I got.
Uh-oh. It's killing Freddy.
The Rock. Yeah.
They're killing Freddy with their rock music. It's Freddy's Nightmare. That's actually pretty good. Who the hell were those guys? That's pretty great. Hell yeah. Yeah, let's see if I can find what was it? Rock and Roll Nightmare, I think it's called. It's so bad.
This is my sweet Petey boy. There he is.
Oh my god, here's the full movie. Dude, we got the full movie right here.
Damn.
We're not gonna watch the whole thing, but I'll skip to the end. But basically, like this dude, Thor, horror Thor. I think his name's Thor. John Milk Thor. That's his name.
Milk.
John Michael Thor. That's his name. And look at this guy. He's like the guy who like starred and wrote this movie. He's in a couple other similar movies where basically they're out in the woods in a cabin recording their rock album, and like some demonic force comes and starts killing them all one by one. But then at the end, this is where it gets great. Like the demons start showing up and killing everybody. And then when the demons finally killed everybody else and it's just the singer left, it turns out that this guy is actually like a warrior for good. He's like basically like an angel, and it was all a trap to lure the demon out so he could turn into this like superhero and kill these demons. And you gotta see this shit at the end when he turns into this. First of all, the demon looks so bad, but yeah, dude, it's like, yeah, we're talking about. Oh, it's terrible. Terrible.
What are you talking about, dude? That's high art.
Oh, yeah, it's a good one. There's a mystery. I got a Rip Tracks version of this movie where Michael J. Nelson and Mystery Science Theater dudes ripped this movie up, and it's so funny. But yeah, we don't need to watch this. It's so bad. But also a lot of like bad, like forced nudity. That was the thing that we don't get anymore. Is like these movies were also like just cheesy excuses to see titties, you know?
Yeah.
Like, do a bunch of like unnecessary sex scenes.
I watched Big Blue or The Big Blue the other day, and there's that one.
Yeah, dude, Rosanna Arquette. That's Patricia Arquette's sister. The one who gets taken in Big Blue. Yeah, for real. And she's fucking fine too. Both of them are fine. And they're David Arquette's brother. David Arquette is their brother from Scream. But,
she's related to David Arquette?
Patricia Arquette, Rosanna Arquette, David Arquette. There's a few more. The Arquettes,
really?
Yeah. They're like Hollywood royalty.
Oh, crazy.
Oh, have y'all seen the newest Final Destination?
I have not.
Oh my! It was actually
Destination?
What?
The Final Destination?
The newest one? I don't know what
it's called The Final Destination, and it turns out it's like actually a prequel.
No.
Oh, okay.
There's one that's like it came out just a couple of years ago, and I only saw it because I was in a hotel room working some other gig like on the Mexico border, and holy shit, it's so fucking good and bad all at the same time.
Yeah, all those are great.
The like gore scenes and the death scenes are just like fantastic. Like holy shit, amazing. The opening scene is mind-blowingly good, and then so much of the acting is so bad. But it's one of those good bad horror movies.
The Final Destination movies are great because it's just all about like watching these intricate, like what's the word I'm looking for? Those little Goldberg machines. Is that what it's called? Yeah. It's Goldberg death machines.
Rube Goldberg.
Yeah. It's like I love those, but all the Final Destinations are great, even the bad ones. But I don't know if this is the one you're talking about, but the one I saw, it's called The Final Destination, and I want to say it was the last one, but the idea is like it's like I think it was like a car race, like a NASCAR is a NASCAR race is the first incident. But then at the end of the movie, it's revealed that this movie is taking place before the very first Final Destination. And they get on board that plane that's on the first one. And it ends with them getting on that plane that explodes in the first movie. So it was like a prequel, and you didn't even realize it. It's a pretty good reveal.
Very nice.
But all of them are good. Like I love the one, I think it was part 3 or 2, where the hot bitches get burned to death in the tanning booth. There's the one where, the second one was the one with the car accident, the big semi-truck freeway.
Yeah, and the log comes through the car entirely.
Yeah, for sure. What were some other really good death scenes from the Final Destination ones, man? Getting sucked into a garbage disposal, and
I'd say the bus just abruptly hitting that one girl.
Yeah.
And the first one.
Yeah. She's like, it's all good. We're going to be fine. Don't worry about. Yeah.
So the one I'm talking about, like the first scene is they're like on a bus on a bridge. And holy fuck, dude. I wish I knew which one it was just so I could show you that one scene. Just the opening scene is just like jaw drop, just what? It was good.
Well, what was it I shared the other day? Oh no, let me share this. Let me find this shit I shared the other day before I share this other thing. I was saying, what was the one I shared? It was like 20 minutes of just like the best Jason Voorhees death scenes, and everyone's favorite, or at least most people's favorite, is the one where he grabs that girl in the sleeping bag and like slams her across a tree.
Oh yeah.
There's so many good ones, man. But the joke is like, how would you like to get killed by, Jason? Because usually Jason, there's two ways Jason kills you. There's either A, he like grabs you and like fucking takes you somewhere and like murders you like slowly, or B, which is where you're like having sex with some girl and he just comes up behind you and like rams a machete through your chest.
Neither of those.
That's a cool way to go.
Yeah. You don't even realize like Jason's in the room, and then next thing you know, your head's on the ground.
So how did you die? You're like, I don't know, man, but it was pretty cool. Whatever it was.
So it's like,
that's all I know.
Well, your legacy ends well too. It's like when they find you, they know you were getting laid. Yeah. Hopefully it wasn't a shameful one though.
Yeah, it's not like
it just makes me think of. So I used to work at this restaurant on 6th Street, like 12 years ago, and there was this crackhead that what do we called him? Joke Man. That's what it was. He always came around like, and he's like, hey, if I tell you a couple jokes, will you give me some beans and shit like that? Sure. And we were always like, all right, because the shit that came out of his mouth was fucking hilarious. I remember one day he was like, oh yeah, my buddy just died last night. I was like, oh shit, I'm sorry, man. He's like, oh no. he just smoked a big ass rock and was fucking this hooker and died when he came. And I was like, what? I was like, yeah, straight up, just died. I was like, all right. He's like, that's how I want to go. Like,
Champion's dead.
Fair enough.
So check this out. I saw this today. My friend Alex, she shared this shit. And let's see here if I can pull this up. This is like these like homoerotic images of all these horror icons. Have you seen this shit?
Yes, I've seen those.
These are pretty good drawings. We got Beetlejuice. We got let's see, here's that Pennywise. The fucking
Jesus.
We got Scream. Sid carved into his chest. Let's see. Jason. I think Jason needs to be way bigger.
Oh yeah.
He should be like
Yeah, he's a buff motherfucker. He's built.
He's not
built
even
like a
buff.
brick wall of China.
Like, you know, a massive guy. Like he should actually have like a beer belly almost. Like, you know, I don't know. He should be like a large guy, like a big barrel chest, you know? Ew. I think Leatherface should be way chunkier.
What's tattooed on him?
Family.
Okay. And how he's holding the manscaping clippers.
Yeah. Oh, this is actually pretty great. Candyman.
Oh, Candyman. Dude, I just went and rewatched Candyman.
It's good.
Like a month or two ago. And holy fuck, that movie holds up. It's like still to this day, like just a legitimately good movie.
I love it.
Yeah.
And I'm worried about the remake. I mean, obviously, I don't know what the remake's doing now because of the COVID, but based on what I saw from the trailers from the remake, it looks like the Candyman kills you. The Candyman gets you and he kills you. But like from the movie, the original movie, the Candyman doesn't kill you. He frames you for murder.
Yeah.
Because what happens is the Candyman gets you and then you black out and then everyone else in the house is dead and you're covered in blood and you have a knife in your hand. I was like, that's pretty fucking good. That's pretty twisted. I love it.
You know why he was doing that though, right? He was looking for, wasn't he looking for a female companion to join him in hell?
All right, that was all the sequels too. Yeah, because after he found the girl, yeah.
Oh, there were sequels to Candyman?
Yeah, there's Farewell to the Flesh. There's, I think there's 3 or 4. There's 3 or 4 Candyman. Oh my god. Freddy. Oh, Freddy. He's like doing like a Fred Astaire thing.
This is during his dance number.
He's about to wipe his ass with the wrong hand.
Oh my god. Oh my god, dude, these are ridiculous. Last one. I hope so. Nope. They're still
fucking Hannibal Lecter.
I don't know why, but I just thought, imagine all these pictures, but with Nick Cage's face.
Oh yeah. Nick Cage, man. Really good Color Out of Space recently. I thought that was great. Sci-fi horror. I love that. I love The Thing. Goddamn, The Thing is one of my favorite horror movies.
The original The Thing.
The first remake.
The remake was, I didn't like the remake.
Well, you mean the first remake, because the 80s one is a remake.
Oh, is it? Well, I know. I remember the original one, and then the 80s one. Was there another one that was after that?
So there's The Thing from Another World from the 50s, and then 1980s John Carpenter Thing.
Yeah.
That's the one that's the best. And then there was recently The Thing, which was not a remake, it was a prequel. And it sucked.
I don't know. The one from the 50s I thought was better than the one from the 80s. But I grew up watching a lot of old movies, so I'm kind of into that old movie feel.
The 80s thing is so great because it really, and I guess the 50s one does it too, but the idea that it's all a bunch of men isolated and they're all like, it's like cabin fever. Like, honestly, like with the prequel, they add like a couple women into the.
I was about to say another homoerotic horror movie,
but it changes the dynamic because there's something about like I think men kind of instinctively want to protect women in a situation like that.
Yeah.
When it's all men, it's more like don't fuck with me. Like you stay over there, you don't do your thing. Like, it's more cutthroat when it's all guys.
It's also the fight for who's the alpha dog.
Yes, exactly. Like that's the thing is like the dynamic really changes when you add a few birds in the situation. You know what I mean? But yeah, I thought that because the thing about the original was, the John Carpenter's thing was like the idea is they're going to do the blood petri dish test. And in the prequel, it's like, we're just going to see if you have fillings. If you have no fillings, then you're probably the thing. And it's just like, what is this shit? And then They do a couple other dumb tests. It's like nothing beats that fucking scene in the 80s when it was like, yeah, I figured you'd say that. That's why we're gonna test you last. Puts the hot needle in the petri dish full of blood, and the blood like jumps out of the petri. It's so good.
Yeah. Well, I am gonna let you guys go here.
Oh, no problem, Donovan. Thanks for coming, man.
My pleasure. Have a good night, y'all.
We do this every Monday if you ever want to come in again, man.
Awesome. Yeah. Keep that in mind.
Well, it's good talking to you. Here, real quick, let me leave you off with a little picture of my brother Aldo.
Oh, yeah, I remember that kid.
He says hello. Aldo says hello.
Peace out, folks.
All right, man. We have a good night.
Peace out.
Oh,
Enzo.
Yeah, what up?
You know what horror movie started this that you know as a kid? Was that damn Labyrinth with David Bowie?
Yeah, it was. The horror show was David Bowie's cod piece.
Yeah, that was a scary movie.
Yeah, like what did he just have like a straight up like fucking zucchini in there? Like what are we talking? What kind of autumn vegetable was in there?
He just,
a gourd of some
just like rock hard at all times. It was weird. Let's look this up. We're gonna let me just Google his cod piece. If I type in David Bowie Labyrinth,
Bowie's
type let's go to screen share so you can see these results.
Yeah, come on. Is it veiny, or does it look like a roll of quarters? What's going on in there?
No, but here I want you to see the autocorrect, autofill. When I type in David Bowie Labyrinth and I'm gonna push in C O. No, okay. Well, if I go to COD, never mind. Stupid Google's trying to censor me. Holy God! Look at this. Like, open link, new tab. Oh, what a great picture here. What is this face he's making? I've never seen this picture before. Ah, let's see. Surely there's some more. There's some way worse ones. Like, look at this. It's like it's in there. It's there. It's like it's a 13. Oh my God! From Bowie to Vader, the 13 best movie cod pieces of all time. What a weird article. Let's see here.
Hey, somebody got paid money for that.
True.
Come on, don't be hating.
Oh yeah, we got the Clockwork Orange now.
It's a great article. Look at you. You're spending time on it. I mean, come on. Like it's noteworthy.
Open image, new tab. Yeah, I mean it's definitely like hanging up and to the right. It's weird. It's up there. It's weird. But I remember like all the contact juggling in that movie.
Oh, that where his hands were actually not his hands. It was a magician.
They had a contact juggler like behind him, wrapping his arm around his body and like trying to contact juggle blindfolded, basically. And there's like so many outtakes of the balls dropping. Like there's so many like failed takes of that where he's trying to get it right. One of those things where they just filmed it until he finally did it. You know? And they basically, once he did it, okay, finally, we can print that one and use that one. What, your dog running?
I'm outside with my dog. I'm about to run to the store because I'm out of beer and I don't got much time left.
Yeah, dude, run for it, man.
All right, peace out.
All right, later. Let's see. Let me look at this shit, Max. You're gonna love this. Look at this is some peak '90s, right here. Peak late '90s. I'm over here wearing a Dead Kenny shirt. We got a dog, Fifi, me and my brother. But look at my hat. Wearing one of those. God.
Yeah, that's like 96, maybe 97 at the latest.
Wearing jorts. I have braces. Look at me. Scary.
Yeah.
Like I said, this is a horror stream.
Was that in the Paso?
Yeah.
Tight.
Yeah, my little brother's birthday party.
Oh, wow. Wow, yeah.
Popular little guy. Because that was the thing, is back in those days, you took pictures of things that were important. You didn't take pictures of just everything like everyone does these days.
Yeah, you only had so many shots in that fucking thing. It was all film, you know?
It's me and my mom and my little brother. Look at me.
Oh.
Look at us. Oh.
Very regal.
How sweet. Let's see.
What Would you say that Aliens and the Alien movies, would you call those horror films or no?
Yeah, we were talking about those earlier, but yeah, I love those. The first one is definitely a slasher film, and same thing with the first Terminator movie. It's like a horror movie, man. It's so great. And I was saying, the video game Alien Isolation on PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 4, that shit is terrifying. You will shit your pants, and you'll die like 100,000 times trying to beat it. I
like the Doom.
It's
Doom
scary and frustrating. But yeah, what do you like the Alien movies, right?
I like. Oh yeah, fuck yeah! Both the Alien and Predator movies I liked a lot.
I like Alien 3 a lot too. I was saying because it's so nihilistic. Because Alien 3, where they're on the prison planet, and Ripley, like Newt and Bishop, they all die, and like Ripley's on this prison planet, and she's got like a queen inside of her, and the aliens running around killing everybody, and that's the one where she's just like. Because like in the first one, she's like this badass girl, this badass like chick who's like running the show, and she gets broken down to like a scared little girl at the end of the first one. So at the beginning of the second one, she's like traumatized. She's like been stuck in space for like 57 years. She's like just getting her life back together. And then she becomes like this badass at the end of the second one with her like maternal instincts trying to take care of Newt. But then in the third one, it's more nihilistic. It's more like, fuck it. Like, these things are demons, and they're going to just torment me until I die. Like, they're never going to leave me alone. It's more about, like, giving up. And that's why it's like a lot of people hated it, because it's so dark and grim. But I actually loved it. And I do love the dog island, the dog alien. The design of the alien in Alien 3 is my favorite. It's very, like, he walks around on all fours. It's not very... It's got this huge tail, and the head is, like, very smooth. It's like a big plant, and it has lips. So like the mouth is closed, and then the mouth like opens, and then you see the teeth, and then the mouth opens, and then it's very gross. Like in the Alien, they purposely tried to make it look scarier, and it made them look less scary because they have all these ridges and big teeth and big points and stuff. But I think the Alien looks way scarier when it looks kind of like almost like harmless at first. Like you don't know what to think when you first see the Alien. It's like this big. Like I said, it's like a big humanoid figure with this huge balloon head, and you don't know what to think. And then when the teeth show, you realize, like, okay, this thing might kill me. I got it. I get it now.
Ripley, like, banged an alien and had that thing, I think. They didn't show that part, but that's definitely a sex scene for sure.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is Alien is it's like a reverse, it's like a reverse rape situation where, like, the men are getting raped and they get impregnated by this thing. You know, it's terrifying. It's like body horror. Look at this. This is actually pretty fucking cool. I haven't seen anything like this, but I found this picture of my old cat Pearl, this calico we had. But I don't know if you can tell in this picture, but it's like one of those holographic little 3D pictures.
Whoa. Damn, I didn't realize you could get those made. I guess you can.
Too. I was like, what the hell? But yeah, my little cat Pearl is like floating on this chair a little bit. That's pretty good.
I had football cards like that.
Oh shit, here's another one. Where did we get these made? I don't know if you can tell in the picture. Yeah, you can. You can kind of see. It's like 3D. What's the word I'm looking for this?
Pearl's dead, right?
Lenticular. It's lenticular. These are lenticular photos. Wow. How much did these cost to get printed? I'm gonna have to hang on to those.
Yeah.
Dude, we got a whole bunch. This is my brother. Again, this is me and my brother. Look at me. First of all, I have a little bowl cut. I have the wedge, the John Connor, like wedge, you know, when they take the razor and shave under your bowl cut. But yeah, look, it's a lenticular photo.
John Connor.
How cool is that? Yeah, when Terminator 2 came out, everyone wanted that Edward Furlong haircut. And then I was saying in Alien 3, that's why my brother started shaving his head like this. All the kids were shaving their head like this around when Alien 3 came out.
Oh, yeah.
Be a little Sigourney Weaver. Holy there's a whole bunch.
What about Event Horizon? Would you call that one?
That is fucking scary. That is a scary ass movie. If anyone's watching this, no one's watching right now, but anyone watches this after the fact, Event Horizon will scare the shit out of you. Especially when I saw Event Horizon in the theaters with my mom. It was just me and my mom on like a dark Tuesday night for some reason. Let's go see this movie. It's about a spaceship.
Yes.
It was going to be so fucking scary. I did not realize that. I remember there was one point in the movie where I was like, holy shit, I wasn't ready for this. I remember thinking, like, as a kid, I was like, damn, dude, what did I get myself into here? It was specifically the part Lawrence Fishburne, he's like puts his head up against like the bar, and then all these like flash images happen of like all this horrifying shit. And that's the thing is, if you ever watched the deleted scenes from that movie, the extended scenes of the hell, it's so graphic. Like a lot of that shit was not able to make the movie. Like people getting like basically like barbed wire like fished through their faces and stuff, and it's just like, dude, graphic. But yeah, Event Horizon's so scary. And I remember what was really fucking scary was just all the exposition at the beginning of the movie when Sam Neill is giving like all the black backstory. Like, we're looking for the Event Horizon, and everyone's like, what? Yeah, we found that the distress call is coming from the Event Horizon out near Neptune. And it turns out, like, this is where he lets them all know, like, what they were told was that the Event Horizon was a deep space exploratory vessel, and what happened was its reactor core went critical and exploded. None of that is true. The Event Horizon was a combination space exploratory vessel and secret government space program where we were trying to make a ship that was capable of faster than light flight. And they're like, you can't do that faster than light. That's awesome. And it's like, well, he's like, yeah, you can't break. It's like the law of relativity prohibits that. And he's like, yeah, well, you can't break the law of relativity, but we can go around it. And I think even Interstellar like stole this stuff from Event Horizon, but they were like, you have the shortest distance between point A and point B is 0. And what the gateway does, the dimensional gateway, what it does is it folds space and time so that point A and point B coexist in the same space. The ship passes through the gateway, space-time returns to normal. It's called a gravity drive. And they're like, how do you know all this? He's like, I built it. And that's the thing that's so great is the fact that he built it. He's the one who's like, don't be worried about the ship. Don't be afraid about the ship. We'll go in the ship. And that's the idea is the ship went to hell and came back like possessed. So good. So creepy.
Yeah, that movie scared the shit out of me, dude.
The Fly. That's another good one where it's like we're going to have a great, it's like a, because that's the idea is like you have a movie. The Fly is horrifying. I think that's one of the scarier movies ever made with Jeff Goldblum. But, that's the same situation. And The Fly is so great because the movie starts out, it's like, yay, we're all popping champagne because I invented a teleportation machine. How excellent. And then everything just goes so horribly wrong that it becomes like the scariest shit ever. And I was saying The Fly is really freaky because like I was watching this thing and they were talking about how what makes The Fly so subconsciously scary is the fact that it really is like an atheistic movie, whereas it's not like trying to disprove or, go against God. It's just the idea of the movie is that like the idea of the movie has this subconscious like story that there is no God. And one of the things that's so freaky is like teleporting. Would you jump into a teleportation machine if given the chance? Because I wouldn't. It's terrifying.
I want to know where it goes for sure.
Well, the idea is it doesn't matter where it goes because the point is you are going to be disassembled and killed, and then a perfect clone of you is going to come out of the other end. So it's like the Prestige. Like, how do you know you come out of that other telepod that's actually you and your soul is intact? You don't. And that was something they talked about in some of the Star Trek episodes where like you have a guy who's like terrified of doing the transporters and they try to convince him like, no, it's perfectly safe. Like you're going to come out normal. It's like, it will appear that I came out normally, but how can you prove that I survived? Because that's the idea is you don't get teleported. You actually get destroyed and then reassembled. And like, that's, it's like, no, I don't think so. I don't want to do it. And the fact is that Brundle, Jeff Goldblum's character in The Fly, he's so willing to jump into the telepod and be the first person to teleport himself as like a big, like he's not afraid. And like Gina Davis and all the other characters are like, fuck no, I'm not going in that machine. Like, no. And like the idea is once that he is teleported, obviously he goes into the telepod with a fly. So it's like a gene splicing. That's what he says. He's like, my teleporter ended up becoming like a gene splicer. And the idea is in the first Fly movie with Vincent Price, all the horror movies from the 50s, all the B monster movies, they're all like a similar formula where like it's a bunch of dudes in a laboratory talking for like an hour. And then the last half hour, like a monster shows up, And that's in the first Fly movie where it's like they put the guy in the telepod and then he comes out and it's a guy with a fly head and he's a monster and they kill him. And then at the end of the movie, they find the little fly in the spider web with the human head, and he's like, "Help me!" And it's like that's a fun little scary movie. But in the remake, it's way worse because it's like he comes out and he's normal. He's like, "I feel great," and it turns out that he's not actually Jeff Goldblum anymore. He comes out, he's this different creature because his DNA has been changed and he has been spliced with a housefly because a fly went in the telepod with him and he didn't realize it. And like he slowly starts like deteriorating and like falling apart. And at first he thinks he has like a molecular cancer and he thinks he's dying, but then eventually he realizes like, no, I'm turning into this new creature, and he starts like embracing it. He's like puking on his donuts and drinking them, and it's just so gross, dude. I love it. But like body horror really freaks me out. Like all the Cronenberg movies, like The Fly and Videodrome and Existence and just like freaky shit about your body like falling apart and turning around. I mean, it's like that fear of cancer, that fear of like terminal diseases, the idea that your body is doing something you don't want it to. Werewolves are also body horror. That's why American Werewolf London is so great. Because like sometimes they're shapeshifters where they can just turn into a werewolf when they want, and it's like a superpower. But it's way better when it's like, no, it's a curse. Like you can't control it, and it hurts like hell, and you don't want to turn into a werewolf, and your body's just doing it against your will. It's way scarier that way.
Yeah, for sure. You never know when you're going to go lose your shit and go eat a bunch of people.
Look at me. This is me and my cousin Michael.
Damn, look at you guys just holding hands. Waiting for popsicles.
I need to send this to Michael like ASAP. Oh my God. That's so funny. Holy shit. Let's see. This is a little, look at this little gangster. I'm just like, I look like I'm just like, yo, what up, bitches? Yo, come on this couch and lay down with me, girl. It's funny.
There's plenty of couch for three of us.
Yeah. My Lord. There's some good stuff in here. But yeah, I love Event Horizon, but also Sam Neill's also in The Mouth of Madness. Do you ever see that one?
No, I have not seen that one.
That's probably John Carpenter's scariest movie, in my opinion. Because, yeah, he did Halloween and... no, actually, I do like The Thing better. The Thing is better than In the Mouth of Madness, but not by much. Like, In the Mouth of Madness is also very freaky, but the idea is Sam Neill... In the Mouth of Madness was great, like, Lovecraftian-style horror, and it's very, like, meta, because the idea is Sam Neill is like he's like a detective or something who does, like, insurance fraud type stuff. He's like an investigator, private investigator, and he's hired by a book publishing firm. And it turns out that they have this like awesome author who is like a cross between H.P. Lovecraft and Stephen King. So he like writes like H.P. Lovecraft style, like Cthulhu, like people turning into hideous monsters stuff. But he's very popular like Stephen King. He's like the best-selling author in the world right now. And all of his books are translated into hundreds of languages and yada yada. And what happens is like he's gone missing. So they hire this investigator to go look for him. And like the idea is he all of his books are centered in this fictional town called Hobbs End that's I think in Maine. And he finds out that it's a real town. And he finds this town and like all the stuff that he wrote about is in this book or in this town in real life. All the stuff that he wrote about in the books is all real life. And it's basically all about like, the end of the world and like very creepy Lovecraftian shit. But yeah, dude, that's a good one. Sam Neill, he does some good movies, man. Jurassic Park, like I was saying earlier with Donovan, Steven Spielberg is a horror director. He makes great horror filmmaking techniques, but he puts them in his little Jurassic Park movies. He puts them in Jaws, The War of the Worlds. He knows how to direct horror, but the fact that you put it in, Jurassic Park, that's why Jurassic Park, the first one, is so much better than the other ones.
I mean, it's a horror film too. At the end of the day, I think
kids are going to get killed by that fucking T-Rex. Like, you don't know that. There's a sense of real danger in the first Jurassic Park movie. The Jurassic World movies, I was saying, there's no real danger for the main characters, Like, you're pretty sure they're going to all come out okay. Holy God. Look at Aldo holding my old cat Pistol.
Wow. Whoa, Pistol's a big boy.
He's a big old Persian. Big white.
Wow.
Yeah. cat was a fucking beast, dude. He lost like 11 of his 9 lives, you know? Like I remember one time we came back from like vacation somewhere and he just had like a huge like hole like in his fucking abdomen and it looked like someone like shot him or something. It was like, what the fuck? He eventually got, like scratch across his eye and he had like a milky white eye, like a fucking like a damn cat, dude. He looked horrifying. And then like he was all white, but he'd hang out in my dad's garage, so you get all these like knots and like oil stains on him and stuff. And like he just looked horrifying. And every once in a while we'd shave him to get all of his knots out, and he looked so pitiful, you know, because he had pain and he was very large. And then when you shaved him, you realize like you're just like a saggy old cat. You're not even that big. It's all your fur. But he had like rotten teeth and like towards the end of his life, I mean, he had like rotten teeth and a milky white eye and like this horrifying meow. It was like, meow. Like that's what he sounded like. It was like, damn, pistol. Like, don't fuck with him. I was saying Eddie's cat Dale. That cat's a monster, dude.
That thing's fucking crazy, man. I've known Dale since Dale came about. Eddie straight up stole that cat from somebody. I don't know who it was.
Yeah, it seems like he was just one of those cats that just hung out at other people's houses, and because that's what happens is you have a cat and he goes and hangs out at other people's houses. You don't care, but you might get a shitty neighbor who's like, "Oh, you're my cat now."
Well, that was Eddie.
Yeah. You know, but the thing is, normally that happens with cute cats. Someone wants to keep your cat because it's cute, but Dale, like I said when I said on my last stream when Eddie was on, talking about how Dale like fucking I have like a scar almost, like these 2 little dots on my arm. You see those? That was Dale got me last time I was watching him. Got me really good because like I fucking made him get inside against his will. I chased him inside with a broom. He wouldn't have it, dude. He was like fucking, and he swats hard. And then when I got inside, I tried to pet him, and he was like, "Fuck you." And he got me. I was like bleeding immediately. I was like, "You shithead." Like I said, I respect Dale. Like I don't. Yeah, I don't. You know, some animals are like, "Oh, cute little innocent creature." Dale is like, no. Dale is like a sentient being that does what he wants.
We fucked with him pretty hard when he was young. That's why.
Yeah, dude. Here's me at my birthday. Oh my God, are you ready for this? I remember this.
Yeah, I'm ready for this.
I remember this so well. So check this out. This is me and my birthday. And I remember my friend Julio Chavez. If you're watching this, Julio, I remember this. Your mother got me a big old box for my birthday present. And I remember thinking like, oh, wow. And I opened it up and it was fucking socks.
Dude, Julio coming through with the socks.
Well, that's the thing is like, as a grown adult, you're like, fucking, hey, socks. Hell yeah. I love socks. Thank you. I can always use more socks. But as a kid, you're like, fuck you, Julio. Don't ever come to my birthday again. No, I'm just kidding. But I was just like, as a kid, like socks are the worst present ever. But when you're a grown man, it's like, I love socks.
Dude, yeah. One of those things where you go to the store and you see like the fresh socks hanging there. They're like $26. You're like, fuck that.
Now I go to the mart and get the $10 pack of like 5-pack or whatever, you know. But here's the thing. I'll never forget this is I think it was Matt Stone. Matt Stone from South Park. Matt Stone and Trey Parker. Matt Stone was talking about, I think it was a joke, obviously, but I mean, in hindsight, it's like, no, it sounds pretty badass. But they're like, what are you doing with all your money? And he's like, buy a lifetime supply of socks. And it's like, you wear your socks, you put on brand new socks, start your day. And then
every day.
Let's say you're walking in your house and you step in like a little bit of water or something. Take those socks off, throw them in the garbage, brand new pair of socks. And
give them to homeless people.
That's so wasteful and terrible, but at the same time, it's like, that actually sounds pretty fucking sweet. I mean, obviously, I'm one of those guys that wears my socks like for like 2 or 3 days because I don't, you know, I'm not wearing them all day. I go out to the store, I go out for 15, 20 minutes, I come back, I take my socks off, I put them on again next time I come on. But after like a few days, it's like, okay, these are done. Like, but when I had little Socrates, my little toy fox terrier, that little bastard always chewed up my socks and I hated it.
I met him once. I met Socrates one time and then he disappeared.
He was a little guy. I like to think some old lady stole him, but who knows?
Dude, you want to hear a crazy story?
Yeah.
My parents lost a cat for 2 years and then it came back.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Like when it came back, was it the same cat or was he changed from what he saw?
Same fucking pissed off asshole cat. His name was Thor. He was a big Persian.
Like I said, he was probably just living next door or 2 houses down.
No, it was off of Man Shack back in like the 90s. We had moved to Maryland, and on the way back, they flew the cats down, and my uncle came and picked them up. And we had 2 of them, one named Splat, the other one named Thor. And when they got there, my cousin opened the fucking cages up, and both the damn cats took off into Slaughter Creek right there. And we found Splat like a week later. She died of rat poisoning, and then Thor was just gone. And 2 years later, we're chilling, and my mom gets a call from Austin Humane Society saying, "Yo, we got your cat." Fucking, they went down and got him. There's fucking Thor with the same cat. Yeah, dude.
I heard it takes like 13 days. Like after 13 days of your cat being in the wild, it's no longer domesticated. It becomes feral. I heard that's how long it takes.
Same cat, man. We brought him home that day. He was sitting on my dad's lap, just being a big fucking cat.
I bet he missed all that free food and shit.
Dude, he was older than I was, and he lived to 18. He died when I was 17.
Yeah.
In my dad's lap. He had a heart attack or something in my dad's lap and died.
Wow. Yeah, my mom's cat Pistol lived to be 21, and we put him down because he was just like, this cat's not dying on his own. Like, I don't know, but it was like towards the end, he just wasn't eating, and he was like he was walking downstairs to the litter box and like pooping like on the way to the litter box, and they would just sit on the litter box and nothing would happen. And we're just oh, Pistol, your time's coming, buddy. I'm sorry, old man. But yeah, 21 is old. That's an old cat.
Yeah, I don't live
my mom had that cat when she was like in fucking college or some shit,
That's wild, dude.
Oh, look at me. This is me and the neighbor kid, Freddie, and my little brother, Aldo. This is me in the back. Me. Oh, shit. I can't. I'm in the red and white, red striped shirt in the back with my little John Connor bangs, like I said. Yeah,
very John Connor.
Shit. I mean, this wasn't even that long, but there was a time where I definitely had the full blown John Connor, like down to my like mid, lower cheeks, Look at this. Oh my God, I look like such a little gay boy.
Damn, but, you do have the
look at this little toy, the Sand Fun, Batman Sand Fun, where you draw shit with sand.
Damn,
remember those?
Never had one of those. No.
Man, crazy. Nice. What else we got? Well, there's a lot of. I'm throwing away a lot of these pictures. There's like my mom gets like quadruplet prints on some of these pictures. Oh man. Now, I did not kill this armadillo, but here's a picture of me with a dead armadillo from my grandpa's house. I'm wearing that.
Those carry leprosy, man. Be careful.
Yeah, well, I never got it. So I went to my grandma's house yesterday and the day before, and my Aunt Helen has 4 armadillos because I know they breed in 4s, and they're like little clones. Like they're bred. Every litter of armadillos is 4, and they're always the same sex. And there's a little, and there's a little what's the word I'm looking for? Let me look this up. This is bothering me. A group of 4 armadillos is called
I didn't know that they're all the same sex and there's always 4 of them. That's crazy. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I guess it's so. I mean, it's a good way for them to prevent inbreeding. It's called a roll. A group of armadillos is called a roll. So there's a roll of armadillos that live under her shed, and they just like go around her garden and eat all her fire ants and stuff. But
that's nice.
They were very cute, and I remember walking right out to them, and they weren't even fucking scared of me. They were like coming up to me, like trying to sniff me and shit. I was like, "Get away from me! What the fuck?" I was like scared of them all of a sudden. I was like, "Whoa! Don't get too close." They're like little pigs. They're like little pigs with shells, and they're just like sniffing around, digging in the dirt, eating ants and termites and stuff.
My uncle had a pet skunk.
Oh, nice. Did it have its like glands removed or something? Here's me and my cousin again.
No glands removed. It was all natural, and it would come up and sit in his lap, and he'd feed it cat food.
They are like little cats, I was going to say.
Yeah. The thing about it spraying was it only sprayed the dogs, first off.
Oh, God.
And that's because it only sprayed shit when you fucked with it. And it was cool if you weren't fucking with it, and the dogs fucked with it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't fuck with it.
Yeah, don't fuck with a skunk, dude. You'll hate that.
Let's see. Sorry, I'm Yeah. What other good scary movies are there? I was saying, like, I started this off with The Ring. The Ring scared the shit. Donovan was like, that movie didn't really scare me as a kid. I was like, dude, I remember in high school, like, all of us freaking out when that bitch came out of that TV.
Pretty scary for sure. I don't know.
Gore Verbinski made that one. The guy who made the Pirates of the Caribbean movies.
Really?
Yeah, and Mouse Hunt. You ever see Mouse Hunt?
I think I did see Mouse Hunt.
That movie's so fucking funny, and it's a great Christmas movie too. But that's one of those movies that's funnier when you're older, you know? And
yeah.
Hands down, my favorite part of that movie is at the beginning. It's like the two brothers, they're both down on their luck, and they realize they've inherited this old creepy house from their dead father. And, you know, right around the time when they're realizing, like, we have to go move in that house, like, the older brother has lost his restaurant, and the younger brother has been broken up with by his fiance, and all this other shit's going on with him. And they're like walking around the city, the town around nighttime. It's snowing, and they're just complaining their grievances. And they see in this little doorstep of this business, it's like a homeless guy, like curled up in the doorstep on the mat, like sleeping. And Nathan Lane is the older brother, and he's just like, would you look at that? Sleeping on the street. Pitiful. And then he walks off, and then the homeless guy just kind of wakes up. He's like, if I had a house, I'd sleep in it.
Dude, fucking E.T. scared me also when I was a little kid. I don't know why.
Steven Spielberg knows how to do horror. Like when at the beginning, when he's running away from the freaky, and that's why E.T.'s so good, because, you know, you're terrified of the man with the keys. The man with the keys who's looking for E.T. And then at the end of the movie, you realize, like, he was just like little Elliot. He's just a little guy who wanted to meet the spacemen. Yeah. He's not a bad guy. And it's like, yeah, E.T. is a fantastic movie. But yeah, there's some scary shit, like, especially when you start dealing with all the psychic connection that Elliot and E.T. start developing, you know. It's very cool. Very cool. But yeah.
And then the other thing that scared me was when Buffalo fucking Bill in Silence of the Lambs puts on the fucking his little fucking costume. That shit freaked me out with that fucking song in the background, the Goodbye Horses song.
Horses, dude, that's a great song too.
Oh, that shit freaked me the fuck out, man.
He tucks his dick and he's like, "I'd fuck me."
Yeah,
I'd fuck you so hard.
The fact that there are people like that out there, and, like, you know, if you ever research like Jeffrey Dahmer or any of those fucking people,
dude, Ed Gein. Ed Gein was creepy because, you know, they said that they would go to his house and, like, because he had kids come over to his house. He was like Ed Gein was crazy because I don't think Ed Gein necessarily killed a lot of people. He was like desecrating graves and stuff. He was like a grave robber, but he did kill people for sure. But Ed Gein, I think he killed his mother. But Ed Gein, they found, like, and the thing that was fucked up is, like, he had people over at his house all the time, including young children, and they never noticed that he had, like, appliance. He had, like, a lamp made out of, like, a pelvis and a spine cord, and the lampshade was made out of human skin. He was just sitting right there, like, all this shit, like, right in plain sight, like, made out of human body parts and stuff. Like, dude, that's freaky. But yeah, and Silence of the Lambs, how, like, you know, the idea is, like, Clarice needs the help of a cunning serial killer, Hannibal Lecter, to help her solve the case, and he's the one who's, like, you know, he's skinning these women so he can make, like, a suit out of them, you know. That's why he picks these fat women, so he can, like, have extra skin to work with, you know,
fit in there. Yeah.
But then at the end, when Hannibal Lecter breaks out, that's when you realize, like, he's the fucking monster, dude. He's a cunning bastard.
That dude hanging from the fucking thing, just like that one scene where he's just like, there's a light coming in, he's just fucking hanging there.
Yeah, so, and then they find him. They find Hannibal Lecter. His face is all, yeah. So it's one guy hanging, and then the other guard is over there with his, like, face all fucked up, and, like, he's still alive. And they're like, "Get him in the ambulance." And then they find Hannibal Lecter, and it looks like he fell down an elevator shaft. And they shoot him. They shoot him, and he's, like, not responding. They shoot him in the leg, and then they fucking grab the dude out of the elevator shaft, and they realize, like, it's the guard with his face peeled off, and then you realize the dude in the ambulance is Hannibal Lecter with his new face, like, pasted on his face, and that's what he, like, wakes out of the ambulance and kills the ambulance driver. Yeah, so good. So creepy.
Yeah, dude, that shit freaked me the fuck out. And you know, of course, The Shining too also scared me too.
Shining is so fucking scary because of the music. The music sells that whole movie. If that movie did not have that same score, I don't think it would have been as successful. Because the thing about The Shining is Stephen King did not like the movie version because, Stanley Kubrick is a genius, but he had his own vision, and the idea was, in the book and also in the miniseries, the sci-fi adaptation of the book, it's very supernatural. It is ghosts at the what's the hotel? The Overlook Hotel.
Yeah.
There are ghosts there that are influencing people to do bad things. But in the Stanley Kubrick movie, it's more like, no, it's just it's cabin fever. And also the idea is in the Stanley Kubrick version, they mention that he already has a violent past. He's already beaten up his son a couple times. He's already had like incidences of drinking and getting violent. Whereas in the book, it's like, no, he's a normal man. That's what makes it like scarier to Stephen King.
Eating aspirin like fucking candy and chewing them up in the book.
Yeah. Because the idea is he's a normal man who gets turned into an evil creature. But in the movie, it's more like, no, everyone has like evil like inherently in them, and it's just kind of like awakened from whatever. But yeah, The Shining. Did you like Dr. Sleep?
I never saw Dr. Sleep.
Good, but it's not a scary movie. It's like an X-Men movie.
Oh shit!
It's cool. It's like little Danny Torrance has grown up, and he's like a fucking superhero, and him and some other people with The Shining go and like assemble a team, like I said, of X-Men to go fight these like psychic vampires.
Damn.
It's cool. And like the first half of the movie is like, it's scary, it's getting creepy, but then like it's suddenly, like I said, it turns into like a superhero movie. It's very cool.
Would you consider Twister to be a thriller or a horror film?
I mean, it's a thriller. I mean, there's nothing horrifying going on in it. I mean, except for the fact that Aunt Meg kills all those cows.
Yeah.
You got a lot of beef. Where'd you get all this beef, Aunt Meg? Did you see my cows out front? No. Oh. Yeah, you were saying you saw that the other day. You were watching that, and I was like, God damn, that's such a good movie. Philip Seymour Hoffman playing such a different character in that movie. He's like,
oh, dude. And
also that was like the dying breaths of the Van Halen hair band rock music. That was like the death throes of that. Like that shit's not cool anymore. Because I remember that whole soundtrack was like Van Hagar and other shit like that. I just remember it just wasn't that cool. It wasn't like that Freddy Krueger thing we just watched with Dokken. Did you see? Were you here for that? Yeah.
No.
Oh man, we were here earlier watching some Dream Warriors.
I was here for that.
Yeah, the hair metal stuff. It's like that shit was cool in the 80s, and then something happened in the 90s. I think it's like once Metallica cut their hair.
There was like
rock with short hair, and it's like, yeah, but you just destroyed the whole genre. The whole like now we all look like gay weirdos because you guys cut your hair and you guys look all sharp and clean.
What you got, Enzo? What's your favorite? What's the scariest fucking movie that you can think of?
Yeah, I mean, my favorite horror movies are The Ring, The Shining, The Thing, The Exorcist is probably my favorite horror movie.
Ooh, that one's a good one. That one scared me too.
It gets scarier when you get older too. The older you get, the scarier it gets, because what makes The Exorcist so terrifying is the fact that the entire movie is so grounded in reality. Everything about it is presented like in a realistic, like this is the real world. This is a real thing that's really happening to a real girl. And then when all the supernatural shit starts happening, it makes it that much scarier because everything else besides the supernatural stuff is presented so realistically. Like, especially when they're like examining her and doing all the tests on her and trying to figure out what's wrong with her. Like that whole shit's scary as hell. And I remember,
fuck you.
Oh yeah, when she's like fucking like raping herself with the crucifix and shit. It's just like, whoa. Like I don't think you realize what's happening when you're a kid when you see that. It just looks like
your hair stand up when she runs down the stairs upside down. Like,
yeah, that was one of the scenes that wasn't in the original movie. And honestly, I could take it or leave that scene because yeah, it's much and it's creepy, but it comes out of nowhere because that's right after they find out. Because that's the whole point of the movie is her friend gets killed, the mother's friend gets killed falling down those stairs. And then later it's revealed that he was possibly thrown out of Reagan's window. And they were saying they think Reagan did it. But they're like, no, she's been sedated. She's been going through all this trauma. They don't think, like, the mother doesn't think she did it at first. But that's when her head turns around. She speaks in her friend's voice. And that's when he says in his voice, like, do you know what your daughter did? You know what your cunting daughter did? And I remember one of the creepier parts that you don't realize when you're younger, like the police detective is over there asking her about it because the guy was dead. He fell down those stairs and, you know, the window and all this stuff. And he was there apparently that night. And she's asking him if he's asking the mother if he can ask Reagan any questions. And she's like, well, she's all sedated because we had a very bad day today and she's on drugs. She's asleep. You know, you have to come back later. And then when he goes back outside, he looks up in the window and you can see her like pacing like in the window. It's so good. So good. But you know what I'm going to say is probably one of the best horror movies ever that no one thinks of is The Passion of the Christ. And I've said this before and I say it all the time, but The Passion of the Christ is fucking horrifying. It's so good and scary. And when the movie's over, you feel like sick to your stomach. Like, it's so awesome.
Yeah, they really fuck with Jesus the whole movie.
It's unrelenting. And, you know, people, you like Hostel and Saw and all these torture porn movies. The Passion is, that's
torture
and
porn.
Also, like I said this before on one of the other streams, I saw The Passion of the Christ thinking it was going to be like a realistic, like historical story of Jesus getting crucified. It's like, no, dude, the devil is in the first scene of the movie. The fucking, like, Satan shows up and he's like tempting Jesus and there's like a snake crawling out of his robe and little maggots coming out of his nose. You're like, okay, this is going to be insane. This movie's going to be nuts. There's like demons and stuff peppered out throughout the whole movie. Super freaky.
Same with Constantine was kind of like that too.
Love Constantine. We talked about that last time, last stream, about how the singer from Bush is in it. He's the guy, he's the demon who gets like half his face melted off and it's Gavin Rosdale. But yeah, I love what Constantine says about cats. He's like, we use cats because they're like halfway in, halfway out of this world, you know? That's why we use them as like mediums. Yeah.
The devil scene where Satan shows up in Constantine.
That's a good depiction of the devil too.
Yeah.
That German dude, he's wearing like a white suit and like his skin has got like this oil, like some kind of like black, like slick, like dripping out of him. It's weird.
Yep.
He's very, like, you know, he's very like, you know, creepy. My favorite depiction of the devil is in Legend though, with Tom Cruise and the unicorns.
Oh, I haven't seen that one.
Dude, that's fucking great. But you got to watch the theatrical cut because there's a director's cut and it sucks because now when you try to find the movie online, it's like the director's cut's the only one you can find and the director's cut sucks because every scene is like longer for no reason and it's all just stupid. But the worst part about it is the original has a Tangerine Dream soundtrack, so it's like all 80s and synthy, and for some reason in the director's cut they like replaced it with like an orchestral like Howard Shore soundtrack and it's not the same and it sucks. I hate it. So if you can find the theatrical cut with the Tangerine Dream soundtrack, like check it out because there's great makeup. It's the same dude who did all the special effects for The Thing and the Howling. You ever see The Howling?
Never saw The Howling.
So American Werewolf in London is the best werewolf movie ever made, but The Howling is the second best werewolf movie ever made. It's 1980. I think they both came out the same year, American Werewolf and The Howling. But The Howling was great because it's like, that was what I was talking about shapeshifters, where it's like a superpower and eventually you can hone it and turn into a werewolf whenever you want, day or night. It's more like a Native American thing, you know? It's not really so much of a curse, but you do turn into like an evil wolf monster whenever you want. But yeah, The Howling's good. It's like going to this colony and you realize like everyone in the colony is a werewolf. Check this out. This is my old house in El Paso, out on 301 Brightwater. Now check this out. All the fences, we didn't have fences. These backyard walls were like these concrete walls with like rocks in them. And what's crazy is if I were to like this, let's see here, this wall right here, if I were to jump over that wall, the other side of that wall was like a fucking 20-foot drop on the sidewalk in the street. Like my house up on like this hill. So like our backyard was like elevated. So like if you were to jump off that fucking wall, like, yeah, you'd fuck yourself up. Like, don't do that. It was scary. I remember freaking out, like sitting on the edge of it and looking down and being like, I don't fucking like this. Yeah. Oh my God.
That's wild.
Look at me. I'm
it's
just
have kids to
sitting here wearing like a Dracula cape for no reason.
What do you mean no reason? You're clearly being Dracula.
Yeah, I guess, but I'm just wearing like sweatpants and like a little like America t-shirt.
You want to be comfortable while you're sucking that blood, dude.
Oh my God, I literally have like, it looks like I have like blood capsule on my mouth.
Oh, you're ready, dude.
I was trying to be Dracula, I guess.
You were going to go fuck with the neighbors for sure. I could tell. You got that look in your eye like, I got a little something for you, motherfuckers.
Look at me sitting on my little table in the living room watching Power Rangers probably.
I think everybody had those chairs as kids.
Oh, those little plastic chairs? Yeah, those little what's the brand I'm thinking of, like play school, whatever.
Something like that, I don't remember.
Well, this is some creepy, like shining style photograph of me standing under my own photo.
Oh wow. You look very proud.
I wore like white jeans. That was a 90s thing.
That's a very that's a very cholo look you got going on there. And that one, the white shoes with the creased out pants there.
Hell yeah, dog.
Khakis.
Oh no.
Oh yes.
This is a picture of Mrs. Mahoney. She was the worst fucking teacher in the world. This bitch was fucking evil, dude. I heard she got fired for like throwing a kid in that little closet.
Throwing a kid in the closet.
You're fucking dude. This is the first day of school. Okay, this is the first day of first grade. This is what happened to me. Now keep in mind, this is first grade. This is real school. You're not in kindergarten anymore. You're not in pre-K. This is public school, elementary. You're in real school now. So I'm like all dressed up, and I remember I had some bubble gum in my mouth, like trying to keep my breath fresh or whatever. And I remember Miss Mahoney's just like walking around first day of school doing her little lecture, like, my name is Miss Mahoney, not Miss Mahoney, and you're gonna say this, you're not gonna talk, and you're gonna do this and that and this. And then she just stops and just looks right at me. She just like hovers right over me. She's like, what are you chewing? And I was like, nothing. And fucking this kid, JR, I'll never forget this. This kid's sitting right in front of me, JR. He's chewing bubble gum, miss.
Fuck you, JR.
And you know what Miss Mahoney did? She fucking grabbed me by the back of the neck, pulled me out of my chair, took me right to the little bathroom that was in the classroom, and just put me over the toilet and started hitting me on the back. Spit it out. And I spat it out. And I remember, like, we would try to tell our parents about what she was like, and none of them believed us because she was so nice to them. Oh, hey, hi. Oh, we just love your son. And like, dude, I remember one time, like, because we sat in pairs in little 2-piece desks with 2 people. And I remember one time, like, just talking to this kid, Jason, like, whispering, and then, like, just realizing Miss Mahoney is just standing over you. And she would, like, slam her hand on the desk and just be like, and start, like, I remember drool would come down out of her face, down her mouth. Horrifying. Max is frozen. I was like, oh, you're not. Okay. I was like, yeah, but I remember just, like, the drool just coming out of her mouth, like dripping right on my desk, like right in front of me. Just like, okay, I won't talk anymore.
She fucking drooled on you, Dad?
She was like, slammed her desk and started like yelling at me, like, you will not talk like that. Ah, and the fucking like drool started coming out of her mouth. I was like, ah. But yeah, I heard she got fired for like beating up people. But of course, that could have just been like an urban legend. It wasn't true. Who knows?
I gave all those teachers so much hell, man. I was always in the fucking principal's office the entire time, literally the whole time.
I was like a pretty bad kid, but I never got in trouble. I was like definitely like smoking weed and misbehaving and going to Mexico and stuff. But I wasn't stupid. Like I wasn't crazy. Like I never went to ISS. I never got suspended. I never like I think I got detention a couple times maybe, but no. I mean, I definitely like senior year of high school. I had all D's. and maxed out all my absences. I was definitely one of those senioritis kids, but yeah, never got in trouble. I remember one time I almost got in trouble with some weed, but it was nothing. It was just like, I like snaked out of there. It was so great. Cause check it out. We would, in high school, the high school's right next to a middle school. Like they're right next door to each other. So, and then above the high school and middle school was a park. So it was like a dirt road that went up a hill. There was a park. And then 3 blocks down was my house. So one time Matt Pillay came over to my house and we were smoking some weed, waking and bacon before school. Then we walked to school and we made the mistake of like smoking at the park. And apparently the custodians at the middle school could see us. And when we walked down the hill to go back to school, they were like following us and they're telling us like, hey, you're coming with us. And I was like, shit. And Matt Pillay was like, fuck you, I'm not going with you. And he just went off that way. And me being stupid, I was like, yeah, I got nothing to hide. Sure, I'll go with you. And they take me to the other custodian, the high school custodian, the high school security, and they take me. And now they're taking me. I'm just following them into the halls, and they were taking me to Miss Felder's office. I didn't realize I was going to Miss Felder's office, who was the assistant vice principal. She was the one who, she was the disciplinary. Yeah. And she was this like short little black lady that we all called Tituba because she was a fucking witch, dude. Because Tituba was the witch from the Crucible. And we, you know, she was fucking mean and she didn't fuck around. But I remember, I'll never forget this. I was wearing cargo pants and I had a little leather sack where my pipe, my lighter, and my sack of weed all went into. And I had it in my cargo pockets. And I remember she's like, empty your pockets. Like, we heard that you and Matt Pillay. And the thing is, they wanted to get Matt Pillay's ass because he was a rich kid. And his dad was like a fucking neurosurgeon or something. And they wanted to nail his ass. And he wasn't there. He walked off. And they got me into the class and was like, I heard you and Matt Pillay were smoking weed up at the park. And I was like, no. I was like, no. We walked to the school from my house. And that's it. And he's like, empty your pockets. And I was like, okay. And I swear to God, I was like, so amazed this worked. I literally like, empty these pockets, no big deal. And then with the cargo pockets, I like open the Velcro and I open this one so you can see inside. And then I go over here and open this one and I grab the sack and I just kind of like, see, nothing in there. Nothing in there. And I sat down and then Miss Felders looks at me and she's like, okay, you can go. And I was like, all right. I had a huge fucking thing in my fucking cargo pocket that I just like Jedi mind tricked her. And then what was really fucked up is Matt Pillay spent that time going to the cul-de-sac where we parked our cars usually, or our friends parked their cars. And he like stashed his shit in like a bush somewhere. Then he walked back to class, went to school, and then they called him in the office first period. And then they got him in ISS because they claimed he smelled like marijuana or whatever. And
you had the weed.
I was like, what the hell are you talking about? That's how I knew it was all bullshit. He like had time to like wash his hands and do fucking all this shit. It's so stupid.
Yeah. Dude, I'm probably going to go to bed soon.
Yeah, man. Me too. We've been going for like 3 hours, so we'll probably wrap it up. Let's see if there's any other good photos here. Let's see. Here's another little baby picture of me. Look at me. I had a little mullet.
Yeah.
Damn.
Is that grandma or is that your mom?
That's my mama.
Nice.
That's my mom. She's over here watching TV. I'm probably gonna join her. But yeah, look at this. This is what it's like in El Paso on a hot day. Like fucking 100 kids in a pool.
Hell yeah.
Hard. All right, man. Well, what are some other good horror movies? We talked about The Shining, The Thing, Hellraiser, Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th.
M. Night Shyamalan put out a few thriller horror movies.
The Sixth Sense and Signs, and I like Unbreakable a lot because it's comic books, But yeah, Shyamalan sucks. I have somewhere on my Facebook I shared. There was like a cover of Newsweek where they were like, when he was making Signs, the Mel Gibson, it was his third movie. They had him on the cover of Newsweek, and they're like, "Is this the next Steven Spielberg?" And that ended up not being true at all. He ended up making some serious bombs. And I heard his latest ones like Glass. I heard Glass was stupid, and I thought his Split movie was okay, but people hate it because it's like it paints split personality syndrome in a negative light and an inaccurate light. And it's like, dude, it's a horror movie.
Yeah, it's supposed to be that way.
Oh, all right, man. Well, shit,
All right.
talking to you, dude. Like I said, if you haven't seen An American Werewolf in London, you should see it. It's on Amazon and Hulu. You should also check out The Howling. Bram Stoker's Dracula. Keanu Reeves' English accent. That's terrifying. So bad in that one. We're going to probably have to do a horror movie episode part 2 and talk about nothing but bad horror movies next.
Yeah, man.
Talking about all the good ones is fun, but I love shitty horror movies too, man. But yeah. All right, man. Well,
all right.
Shit. It's good chatting, buddy.
Yeah, man. Take it easy.
Yeah, man. We'll see you soon, dude. Next Monday.
Yep.
All right, man.
Yep.
All right, buddy. Shit. What else we got? Life preserve jacket. Superman digs. This was a mistake, guys. This was next. Okay. All right. Wrap it up here. Let's finish this off with. You see some good kills. Share screen. Here. Share audio. Let's see what we got over here. Oh my god, he broke that dude in half. Oh my god. Jason is a killing machine. The dude is literally like a hurricane. Let's see. Oh my god. See, that's what I was saying. The worst is when you're like being chased by Jason and then he kills you. It's way better when he just kind of sneaks up on you and like cuts your head off without you even realizing. Oh, here we go. That's the best one, where he kills the lady with in the sleeping bag. Oh my god. This is literally 20 minutes long of Jason killing people. Okay, we just saw some nipples, so I think we'll stop there. All right, guys. Good night, y'all. It's 12:30. We'll be going 3 hours. All right. That's it. That's it. I'm gonna end it. I'm gonna end it now. Real quick. Hang on. Wait. Let's see one more thing. Let's see what we got here. Let's do a couple more of these real quick. I actually want to see some more. We'll go here. Yep, you heard him. Stop screwing around, you guys. Stop it. All right. Bye.